That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream for episode 179 of Gundam at MAHQ. I'm Chris Guanche. So if you are listening to the recorded version, then this is not live for you, but for our live listeners, I want to apologize for the delay. That was entirely on my side, caused by a simple computer restart that turned into an hour-long installation of Windows Anniversary Update.
You got caught by Microsoft. Sorry,
yes,
bro.
It was a bad anniversary.
That's no anniversary present I wanted, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'm finally here, and we are good to go.
Awesome, man.
So, bro, why don't you tell the peeps the information they should be using to interact with us during this live stream?
Absolutely, guys. If you don't know already, you're more than welcome to use the hashtag of Gundam Live 179. You can see it in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And if you would like to submit a tweet, whether it be a question about the show, the reviewing tonight, or if you want to bring up an observation of that, or you want to add to the conversation, by all means, use that hashtag, and you may have your tweet seen on the show tonight. And thanks for participating, guys. We already got a lot of good tweets already, man. It's going to be the shit tonight. Let's go. Back to you, Chris.
Or it might just be shit.
Oh my god.
That's always possible.
It could be. It could be. I've had shit shows before.
Also, thanks everyone who's participating in the chat on YouTube.
Absolutely.
So, as we always do, we're going to open up with some news. So I am going to just walk right over to the Larry King Memorial News Desk to read the listener-submitted topics on Neo's News.
Woo! Yo, let's go!
But wait a second.
Oh,
Your
shit!
name is Chris. How can you do the Neo's News?
What the hell?
Yes, this is the disembodied voice coming through from above.
I thought you were dead, damn it.
Oh my god, he's
No.
back!
Thought you were in a hole with Dennis.
No, well, I kind of was. There was some holes that Dennis would know about. Yes. Yeah, I am back. I am back in the States, everyone. And thank you for taking ownership of everything for a while, Silver and Chris. I leave doing this show one way, and I come back doing it a different way. So I just want to say to everybody out there, I will participate in this one, but I still got to kind of feel this out. So, Chris, not to take any more of the spotlight away from you, I'll let you go and do the news, but do it well. Do the suspenders proud, because I have mine on right now, and nothing else.
So funny. So do I. Trying to be, true to the spirit of things.
But go ahead, my friend.
All right, so leading things off is a contribution from Vent Noir via the Anime News Network. Free Gundam model building lessons offered for Japanese children. Or maybe old men posing as children.
Like Tomino right there.
So it says here, hobby shops all across Japan will be offering free Gundam model building lessons to children in middle school or younger beginning on August 6th as part of a new promotional event. Participating children will learn how to build their own RX-78-2 Gundam and will be able to take their completed model home free of charge. The complete list of dates and locations for the Gundam model building lessons is available on the Bandai Hobby website.
That's pretty cool, man. You'll free Gunpla lessons, and you get to take the Gunpla home. What is it, like 1/200th scale? You got to put it together with tweezers.
Well, you have to remember, Bandai is always like your local drug dealer on all these crime shows where they give them a little and then they come back wanting more. So it's like you give them that free one, the 1/500th, and then they come back wanting the master grade. So
will there be like creepy dudes in glasses calling themselves the Majin?
I think so.
Are we at Build Fighters?
I gotta say, this picture of Tamino creepily looking through the door at the two children is that's enough for me. I see Amber Alert right here. It just screams Amber Alert.
Nice. Yo, shout out to Fred. He says, "Who wants to bet a bunch of neckbeards are gonna show up to these events?"
And pretend to be children.
Yo, I'm 5.
It'll be like the problem they have here in the U.S. with the Little League. Every so often, when they find a kid that's like 17, he's supposed to be 14.
They make him walk hunched, so he appears smaller.
Well, my mother had a friend who was a cheapskate and would go to Orlando with her kids who, at this point, were like 5 or 6, and she would put them in strollers and wrap blankets around them so that only their faces were visible.
Wow.
And pretend that they were toddlers, like 2 years old still, so they could get into Disney World for free.
What?
She was so stingy and didn't want to pay the tickets for her kids.
God damn. That's pretty gross.
So anything is possible.
Straight comedy.
All right, moving on. Our next item comes from contributor The Shade via Ollie Barter at Forbes. Mobile Suit Gundam Original Trilogy available for free, legally online streaming until mid-September.
Wow.
Yes, so this is blah, blah, blah. Was it Gundam.info that it's on?
Oh, it's on Gundam.info, yeah.
Yeah, which is also on accessible on YouTube. So
Absolutely.
Gundam.info YouTube is your place to go for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the trilogy cheats me out of the Gundam hammer. But it does give me more gun cannon. But it cheats me out of gun tank though.
No space gun tank, yes.
I know, gun tank in space with those little treads going.
They should have called the space gun tank the Rick gun tank.
And you also get cheated out of all of the glorious instances of that Scooby-Doo sounding 70s theme.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plain dramatic moments. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Woo! That's the best. Oh my god, the soundtrack may be dated, but it still brings me home every time I hear it, man. But yo, this is fantastic news, man, for people who have been exposed to like some of the newer fare for Gundam, like Gundam the Origin, for instance. If you're watching that, or if you're watching even tonight's discussion of tonight's subject of discussion, Thunderbolt, man. If you guys are watching any of those, you guys can check out the original trilogy for Mobile Suit Gundam for free on the old interwebs and be able to see pretty much what started it all. The movie trilogy is pretty well done, even though I would definitely recommend people watching that over the TV show if I had to make a choice in the matter.
No, you should watch both.
Oh, of course you should, but I'm just saying,
Bandai.
if you want to get a taste of
That's what I keep being poked by the guy sitting next to me. The Japanese guy next to me says, watch both.
oh my god, yo, it must be Tomino.
No, this guy has no rights to that. It's just a suit. Corporate suit.
The corporate suit, man. Man, just check it out, man. If you guys have free time, man, watch that over on youtube.com/GundamInfo.
And next up is one that's rather ominous from contributor Yokozuna Bulldozer via ANN. And this is New mecha cross-media IP Megaton Musashi announced by Level 5.
Oh, our favorite.
Which I already don't even want to know what this is. Cross-media IP mecha at Level 5. That's already giving me flashbacks to a certain show that shall not be named.
Oh man, that's your favorite show though.
It rhymes with Fundum Rage.
Oh, yo, Fundum Rage.
Yeah, just that title confuses me.
So here's what it says here. Game developer Level 5 announced a new cross-media project titled Megaton Musashi during its Level 5 Vision 2016 New Heroes presentation. The project includes TV anime and game collaboration with Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump, Toys by Bandai, and an internet anime spin-off titled After School. The company also streamed an animated preview on YouTube. The story takes place after 90% of humanity is wiped out due to an invasion. Survivors live in a shelter where their lives are monitored and memories of the invasion erased.
Ooh.
3 teenagers from the shelter are chosen to pilot 3 machines that combine to form the Musashi robot made out of a material named Megatronium alloy.
Oh
boy.
damn.
This series will balance robot action with school life. Each different medium, game, anime, or other, will tell the story from the point of view of a different set of characters. The game will be an RPG with multiplayer features. The project is slated to begin summer 2017, though Level 5 did not specify if this is the anime game or some other aspect of the project.
Hasn't this been done before?
Yeah, Level 5 has done this. Yeah, they've done it. They've done it numerous times.
Well, no, I'm just talking the story of 90% of humanity wiped out, survivors live in a shelter.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got 3 kids got to balance protecting the world and plus doing social studies homework. I mean,
it's
been done, right?
It's an apocalyptic tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're doing something.
Spin it.
I think it's cool they're doing a super robot show. I think it may fall.
They tried it before, it didn't work out well.
Oh, did they try a super robot show, or you mean Gundam Age? Because I mean, Gundam Age. I mean, yeah, they botched that. I'll be straight up. That was not that it didn't work out well for anyone. Oh my god. Well, I'll take the hit. But yeah, at least for Super Robot show. Oh yeah, shoot. I'm sorry. I do think that it should. It may pan out better for them. I think in the long run, because they do Flights of Fancy very well. I think, and I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I just hope it gets sent. I hope it gets translated. It'd be nice to see that.
So how pessimistic
I will not even give them the doubt of the benefits.
It's over there. It's bullshit.
And I'll be Switzerland on this one because I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so bro, it's time for the sirens.
No way. Oh shit.
Sirens.
Michael Bay.
One of the favorite things of all news.
That's bullshit. What the
Yo, it's that time, huh? Go ahead, take it away, sir.
It is time for the Sir Bay News Alert.
No, it's been too.
Yes. What is it?
This comes from Philly Gundam fan via Collider.com. There's a new poster for Transformers The Last Night.
Ooh. Yeah.
It says here, the long lead marketing campaign for Transformers The Last Night continues as the first poster banner for the 5th Transformers movie has been released online. Michael Bay returns to the director's chair for a 5th go-around with the Robots in Disguise, with Mark Wahlberg's inventor Cade Yeager. That's me, guys. Returning to further battle and or team up with the titular Transformers, the explosions and destruction run rampant in their wake.
Oh, awesome.
The debut poster actually has a pretty neat throwback vibe to it, featuring Optimus Prime front and center, ready to battle with something. There you go, guys.
So I need to ask this though. Cade, are you gonna find anything in this movie like you did the last time?
I'm gonna find out I'm a robosexual if that's what you mean.
Okay.
I'm gonna find my daughter's chastity belt. I don't know.
Oh God.
That's been lost for years.
Oh my God.
Unless somehow someone hits me with a pocket-sized Romeo and Juliet rape laws summary, and I can't do anything, can I?
Especially in Texas, right?
Oh, man. That chastity belt's been obliterated.
Couldn't you see guys in some hamburgers, maybe some cheeseburgers, and some curly fries?
I think what made it bad was that dude was he was from Australia, wasn't he? Your daughter's boyfriend, wasn't he Australian? He sounded Australian.
I think he's foreign. I know that much, but he played an American in the movie, if I recall.
I thought he had an accent there. For
you know what? His acting sucked anyway. So
All that matters is that you guys buy some new juicy burgers.
there you go.
They're delicious.
Wall burgers, man.
Wahlburgers, they're delicious.
Hey man, why don't you cater the show, bro? We could have had some in the green room, man. Way to go, Mark Wahlberg, man. You cheap bastard.
do you have any like Vietnamese burgers or anything like that?
Oh, damn.
Mark Wahlberg.
What do you think this is, huh? Just made out of money? Or made out of burgers? Just burgers growing on trees to give out to you mooches?
I thought Mark was gonna say what? No. No burgers for you.
Okay, so what's the over and under on Transformers Last Night making $1 billion? I say it's going to make 1.15.
Well, China's gonna be about a third of the gross, so yeah, they're gonna make one. They're gonna make over $1 billion.
I don't care what the inputs are.
China's gonna be most of it because the fourth movie did not do so well domestically.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Aggregate, man. Aggregate. That's what we go by. We're a global community now.
I'm sure it will hit $1 billion. Beyond that, I don't particularly care.
Man.
Once again, Sorbet making dreams possible,
Man.
making fanboys cry.
Dreams for Chinese financiers possible.
I will say this poster looks fantastic. I just know the poster looks better than probably what the movie will be.
I wish on the 30th anniversary Blu-ray of Transformers the movie they had Sorbet do an audio commentary.
No, we're good.
What he would have done in this thing.
You're like, there needs to be more explosions.
Like you see Prime turning gray, I would have had him turn gray and then blow up.
There's not
Genius.
enough hot women in this.
We're all hot women.
Can reanimate it and put Carly in a bikini.
Oh no. Oh no way. Oh my god.
It works.
Well, it's coming whether we want it or not. See you next summer, Transformers.
Well, you know what? Somebody must want it because people still go and see these stupid movies.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do.
Which, by the way, pre-order that 30th anniversary Blu-ray. It looks pretty damn nice.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool extras on it too. Like a lot of the voice actors that played the characters. They got a lot
You
of.
want to. You want the touch. You
I
want
do.
The power.
I do, man.
Did they remaster that song?
They gave it a 4K.
Touch.
They give it a 4K treatment. I know that much.
I got the power. the power of my alien rifle that makes me feel like I'm a Transformer.
Oh Lord.
Maybe when I get my 4K TV here in a little bit, that'll be my first thing. Not really.
You don't want to see me in 4K?
No.
You want to see my face in 4K?
No, I did have a glorious thing though when I came back. I saw that now that Bad Boys 2 is on Blu-ray with Bad Boys 1.
Oh, finally.
That was a fucking tremendous moment. I can say fuck, right?
I'm not in Bad Boys 1 or 2.
No, you're not. But
I'm in Transformers.
you could be in number 3. We could do cross universe in that. Oh my god, you imagine a Bad Boys Transformers universe crossover? How amazing would that be? Mike Lowry against Rick Ironhide. Well, I think Ironhide.
I was also in Pain and Gain with the Walk.
With
I
the
know.
with the
He's a
walk.
cool guy. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
who's what now? Calling all the people, all the male stars of Fast and the Furious candy asses.
Funny story. It's funny. He brought that up. He tried to be slick about not naming who it was, right? But all the word from the set is this fucking Vin Diesel that The Rock called out of being a fucking jabroni and a candy ass on the set. He used to be cool as fuck. I mean, what happened? Yo, Vin, you need to step it up, man. If The Rock's calling you a bitch. Oh my god, dude. You messing up. That's what I'm saying. Yo, yes. I see what he did there. He's trying to get the next match set up at WrestleMania. Let's go. I'm in. Yo, shout outs to Yazi real quick. he hit us up with this. Let's see here. He hit us up with a little tweet here. He says, Cade Yeager flipping burgers in Detroit. Shows a picture of Mark Wahlberg right here.
Was Mark Wahlberg in Detroit?
Yeah, apparently opening up a new Wahlburgers, man. Yo, Mark, you've been busy, bro.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he has a burger place, right?
Yes, he does. Yeah, that's pretty much what he was talking about, burgers.
Is anybody eating at it?
Yeah, they seem to be a chain that's doing somewhat well.
They're not in South Florida, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Hey, man. What? No.
There's 15,000 burger places where I live, so it's like it doesn't matter at this point.
Yo, Yazi says that happened today. And, yo, real quick, I have a question from Twitter for you, Neo. I don't know if you've got the chance to watch it yet, but here goes nothing. What was Neo's opinion of Iron-Blooded Orphans? It's asked by Shellcod X on Twitter. Have you had the chance to finish the show yet, or?
Yeah, actually, it's on Hulu, but I will defer my answer to a later time.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
learned some things overseas.
Oh,
I learned how to do the T's.
The T's? Well, shout outs to Showcard for that tweet.
I'll talk. It was good, but I'll talk about it extended. I don't want to take any more time away from Chris.
Nice. Well, I expect the same answer for this one, where they say, Neo, can we get your thoughts on IBO and the first half of Macross Delta? But
I haven't seen Macross Delta.
Oh, okay. Because his other question was, do you like or dislike Freya? I had a bet going that you're gonna hate her so much, but you haven't seen the show yet, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
If Freya's like what's her face, then yeah, it's Cheryl forever. That's what I go by. Any chick like Cheryl, I'm good with. But anybody not like her, like Ronka, they can suck D's.
Oh, damn.
No, I haven't had a chance to. I was telling these guys offline. Streaming was not an issue where I was at, but when it came to like anything like a torrent, and to be honest with you, I really didn't look that hard for Macross Delta.
Yeah.
But everything I looked for was on a torrent, and downloading was just kind of a pain out there. So, but I will catch up. So.
Macross Delta shit anyway. Robotech forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's true. Robotech Masters forever, actually. So.
Robotech live action coming at you.
Nice.
When is that happening? Is that still going on? Are they still talking about that?
Yo, James Wan, he's still slated to direct it, but
he needs something to do, right? Or doesn't he?
I suppose so.
Needs some work, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but they keep talking about it. So I'm sure it'll still be in development hell for another 20 years before we see it. God, I'll be shocked if it's not, because it hasn't made any movement since they announced it so many years ago. But man.
Anyway, that's enough about that movie.
Yeah.
That wraps up all of the news that we have. So please submit more in the Neo's Listener Submitted News topic, and next episode it'll be read by Neo himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you kept the title of it. I'm glad it didn't become like Chris's Crucible for news excellence or something like that, or But thank you for remembering me.
That's right. We kept you in memoriam, sir. Good thing you've returned from the nether realms. It's good to have you back, man. My hats off. If anything, it feels like we're back at home now, man. No more away missions. We're here. We're back together.
Wear a red shirt.
Oh, thank goodness. Shout outs real quick to MAHQ.net. That's where the magic happens. Make sure to pay them a visit if you've never been there before. Hit the follow button over there. I'm sorry, the subscription. Make it one of your favorite websites in your browser. And
bookmark it.
Bookmark it. There you go. God dang, I can't even talk tonight. Mechatalk.net is the official forums of MAHQ, and you guys know all the other sites. I'll make sure to plug those all before we close out the episode tonight. But anything you guys wanted to mention before we jump into our main discussion?
No, let's get to the main event that people are waiting for, is to hear us talk about Gundam Thunderbolt.
Oh my God, yo, Chris sounds excited, y'all. Yo, welcome.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
Yo, also real quick, happy birthday to none other than longtime listener, the Hod. I wanted to wish him a happy birthday and let him know that we've always appreciated your feedback on the show. And thank you so much for listening. And happy birthday to anybody else whose birthday is out there today. Thanks for listening and tuning into the stream as well. And we're going to get into our discussion of Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. Not only the manga, where we're going to be covering volumes 1 through 7, but we're also going to be covering the movie first, actually. The OVA movie that dropped recently called December Sky. Now, for those who don't know, December Sky actually is an adaptation of the manga that came out several years ago. That is an adaptation with the broad strokes from volumes 1 through 3, with a little bit from volume 4, leading all the way up to chapter 33. I also want to give a big thank you to someone who's in the chat right now, also Deacon Blues, who localized the translation for Gundam Thunderbolt that we pretty much partook in reading for the manga. So shout out to Deacon Blues for being in the chat today over from Zeonic Translations. Give him a look-see over on his website as well. And we'll talk about December Sky first, just to give a brief overview of Thunderbolt. I'm going to make this real quick.
Before you begin,
yeah.
I'm disappointed to see that December Sky was not released in December, but I think it was said February. So that's one strike against it.
What strike? Already screwing up.
Disappointed!
To make
That was a bait and switch, what they call in advertising there. I was like, December Sky? It's not December, it's February. What? Go ahead.
Liars. But to make a long story short, this series takes place. It starts off in the late months of the 1 Year War. It focuses on two main characters.
1 Year War.
It focuses on a gung-ho Federation pilot with a penchant for mobile suit piloting and battlefield murder. His name is E.O. Fleming. He's born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he is there to help avenge the destruction of Side 4. The Moore Brotherhood used to be in charge of Side 4 before the colonies were destroyed in the onslaught of the 1 Year War, and the Federation to send troops back there with the funding or the support of the Moore Brotherhood to win back their homeland. On the other side of the conflict, you have Darrow Lawrence, and he is a sniper with the Zeon forces, part of a group called the Living Dead Squadron, and they consist of members that
commanded by General George Romero.
Exactly. They consist of
Federation brains.
When I first saw that, I had to laugh. I was waiting for some Japanese humor on that one. Like, wait, it's got to be General George Romero. They missed an opportunity.
I wish there was a Romero reference in there. I don't know why there wasn't. That's unfortunate. But he's with the Living Dead Squadron, which is made up mostly of paraplegic soldiers that were injured in the war so far on the Zeon side, and they're given cybernetic implants and prosthetics in order to be able to continue piloting their mobile suits. And also the technology that allows Daryl to pilot the mobile suit that he uses later on in the series is greatly advantaged by the fact that he doesn't have limbs at that point in time. He's able to connect directly to it, and a rivalry begins between those two men, where they're both on a quest to kill each other on the battlefield and to see who is better than the other. A lot of other stuff happens. We're going to get into it by opening up the discussion. And we're going to first get into first impressions of Thunderbolt, December Sky. I'm going to turn it over to Neo and see what his first impressions are, and then we'll get into the positives of the December Sky. Neo, what are some of your first impressions leading into your positives that you enjoyed?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't really kept track of stuff, so I watched this a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
First impressions. Hey, it's 1 Year War. It's Universal Century. It's a different part of the battlefield that we hadn't seen before. It was interesting take on using disabled soldiers and giving them kind of a second chance. But I'll go into other stuff. So that's kind of my. But it was very well done when it comes to animated. It looked well. But I'll just kind of go from there on first impressions. We'll go into other things.
Sure.
So I don't want to go too much into that. So.
Chris, what are some of your first impressions as well? Well, you gave a lot of your first impressions when we actually talked about the OVA, first OVA for Thunderbolt. But any other impressions you wanted to give, and any positives you wanted to give on this series, at least the OVA movie?
Ugly people.
Oh, damn.
Is that a positive or just a? Oh yeah.
Just an impression. Ugly character designs that are just not appealing in any way, shape, or form.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
A little too much.
Kleenex.
They should have been a sponsor, for Christ's sakes.
Space Kleenex.
Yeah.
Narconon was needed.
What?
Yes.
Jeez.
Claudia needed Narconon, meaning she needed to get that first chip.
Yo, she was taking that space, that space heroin.
Maybe she should have gotten some space Tic Tacs from.
Yeah.
Oh, from that one dude, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was doing space meth provided by Space Heisenberg.
Oh, damn. The real danger.
It's so blue.
Oh my God! Yo, Bright Star Sock says the Fetty Kid Cannon fodder were pretty cute. Oh, damn.
Oh yeah. Right?
Oh, they definitely pulled from the young ranks, man. Holy shit. But
Positives.
Yeah.
Well animated.
Mm-hmm.
At parts, interesting soundtrack. Unfortunately, in other parts, grating. So that's not a positive.
yeah.
And lots of mobile suit porn. That's it.
Oh well, shit. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to do my positives.
Yeah, by all means, go for it.
Yeah, I got to say it was really well animated. It showed a different part of the battlefield in the 1 Year War.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, damn. Yo, shout out to Lawrence Tubbs, who says the dub was nice. I actually watched this dubbed, as opposed to the OVAs, which I watched in the original Japanese. But yeah, I enjoyed the dub for this too. All their voice actors brought it. That was one of the positives for me.
I looked at both. Was he called Ian Fleming in the dub?
I think
or was he still Io Fleming?
I think it's Io.
Because it kept seeming to me like Ian Fleming. I'm like, wait a second, shouldn't he be behind a typewriter?
No doubt. and wearing tuxes to the train station.
I mean, Jamaica was spared during the 1 Year War, wasn't it? Caribbean?
I would imagine, yeah. Such a small, they'd have to really go out of their way to go after some Jamaicans.
Well, I think that's where he wrote a lot of the good stories of James Bond.
Yeah.
In his, I forget what it's called. Chris would probably know because he's a writer. But because I think one of his Ian Fleming's actual like little man caves that he wrote everything in Jamaica was called one. I think Goldfinger or something. I don't know. I may be talking out my ass, but. Go ahead, Silbra.
Well, I'm wondering if his actual naming convention was actually based on Ian Fleming for E.O. Fleming. It could be, but going back into it, yes, it's definitely well produced. I love the animation. Some of the music is really cool. I wish actually, I'll save it for my negatives. But I did enjoy the production behind this, and the fact that even though I read the manga as well, and the characters may come off ugly, they look really good in animation. I would have to say. I'm not as opposed to the animation, the character design in this as some. But I heard nothing but people complaining about how bad the characters look, and it's like, I've seen worse.
I mean, it's not like initial D bad, but it's not good.
Oh shit. Other than that, I like the setting. I love the setting of this series, at least in the beginning, where
this 1 Year War, Side 4, destroyed colonies.
Exactly.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, but I mean, they went into it in a way that I hadn't seen it done in any other Gundam series, where we lingered in this area for a while, and they were able to take advantage of the terrain, going in and out these dead colonies.
This one's a real colony.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually wonder if he was the father of the guy that was the real rock guy. Oh no, he couldn't have been because he was Federation.
Exactly. I'd say, unfortunately, he wasn't. But the kind of the idiosyncrasies of combat in an area like that, like the battle where EO fights the three pilots in the Living Dead Squadron. We're talking Sean and Daryl and I forget the other gentleman's name, the older gentleman, and he uses Sean as a human shield as he's flying at Daryl. I thought that the staging of that fight scene, as well as all the other fight scenes, are very well done in this, and outdo the manga. Of course, the manga is kind of like the storyboard, but they really brought it to life very well, especially how the OVAs start out, and then the kind of the interstitials between each chapter of the movie, where they introduce you back into the battlefield and you see all the action taking place. There's some areas where the animation's a little choppy, but that I attribute that to an O&A budget. But overall, I think it's a pretty slick looking production, and I've really enjoyed watching this movie. But I guess that's our positives, man. Let's get into those negatives. I'll start with the one and only Chris, because I know he's got some things to say about this.
How much time do we have?
Chris, take it away, sir. What are some of your negatives for this?
Pretty much all the characters. I didn't find any of them interesting. EO was just pampered and then later bloodthirsty maniac, and I didn't find his background particularly compelling of, his dad was the mayor of Side 4 and committed suicide, and boo-hoo, how sad, and he only finds meaning for his life in the battlefield. Like, oh my god, how many of these freaking guys have we seen before? Daryl is just also completely bland, not someone who has any kind of personality, and then like just randomly is in love with Carla. The other characters are just total background fodder. Claudia's a drug addict who has no respect in her crew, and obviously brings her problems later on when her first officer turns on her and shoots her because he's just so revolted by her.
Yeah, he's pretty bitter.
So the biggest problem I have is the length, which is so little time overall is spent on these characters that you just don't really give a shit about any of them. Like, am I supposed to care that EO is broken? Am I supposed to care about Daryl's plight and that of all the other living dead people? I mean, what does any of this matter? And the setting for the story also just seems ridiculous. Like, what is the point of them fighting over all of these ruins of colonies and space debris? Like, what's the strategic significance other than just the fact that they keep insisting that they have to?
Yeah, it's more so a pride thing, and I think that's pretty dumb. At the end of the day, it's just let it go.
It's like a pointless, like, there's no strategic value to this. And if it's even something like, we want to disrupt Xeon supply lines, like, why even send anything through there? You can just go around it. It just makes no sense whatsoever. If you're going to insist that you have to go through there, as a certain Vulcan science officer would say, that's two-dimensional thinking.
Oh, shit.
So that makes no sense whatsoever and is just completely discredited.
Shout outs to Deacon Blues, who says the area was a supply route for the Xeon.
Which is it's dumb.
But it gives a strategic value, man. Maybe dumb strategic value.
It does, but why would you waste a Gundam, a prototype Gundam, on doing supply run hits? Like, that was kind of the thing I got with it too. Is okay, I get that these are the Federation forces are made up of people that lived inside 4 and they're pissed off because their area got blown up. But outside of that, why would you put a prototype into that area? You can get away doing hit and run attacks with GMs and balls and all that. I get the whole thing about, and I'm also with Chris about the whole thing about the disabled soldiers. It would have been nice if they said, like, we got to try to do this because maybe it gave more of an insight of, if they get more insight of like how dire the manpower effort in Xeon was. Like, okay, we're trying this because it's really this bad. Like, we don't have any more people. If a MAHQ goes down or we survive it or whatever it might be, we need to be able to do something. It didn't mean anything. It's like, okay, this is sad. It's kind of interesting because for once we see disabled soldiers. We never really saw disabled soldiers in any prior Gundams manga or UC or anything like that where they really were doing anything. But once again,
There's old Kelly Lasner.
old Kelly Lasner, yeah. But other than that, I mean, it really is why would you go about doing this? Why all the resources that they're putting in? I mean, Xeon's doing, they're doing experimental trials with the Living Dead Force, and once again, you're using a Gundam, and okay, this is the big issue I had with this.
Good.
And
Let it out.
Well, I get, okay, I've always liked with the side stories they'll show there were other Gundams outside of the original RX-78-2, and I get that. But this one seems so out of place because it's got all these attachments and it's got, I'm like, wait a second. We still have to kind of ground this into the reality of like UC 0079. I get that we were first Gundam was done in 1979, so things have progressed and all that, and we've gotten that. But a lot of the stuff that's happened after that still kind of grounded in reality, where there's still kind of limitations. This thing, I mean, the freaking RX-78, what is it, the RA or something, whatever the hell it is, full armor. I mean, this thing is like this is a Titans. This is a Titans era one. I mean, this, and I get it because you can sit there and say, okay, this is at the end of everything, but at the end of the 1 year war. But if we look at the lore of the Universal Century, we saw that because of the end of the 1 year war and getting the Xeon technology, that's what propagated all of the advanced mobile suits in the Titans era. So I'm sitting there, and I hate to be like this because it's making me sound like such a nitpicky bastard, but I'm sitting there going, this Gundam seems way out of place for what we're dealing with here. And even the Zaku seemed like it to a point. And I'm like...
Hell, the Psycho system, the Psycho P reuse system also seems way ahead of its time for this era.
Well, here's the other issue that I have with this, is the full armor has got all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Why the hell wouldn't you give it to a guy called Armoro Ray, who's a proven ace, who's got the Xeon scared shitless because he's a new type and all this other stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you still have him use good old Optimus Prime when and you give it to what? Some douchebag named Io that's just a bloodthirsty murderer? Yeah. I mean,
Amuro's good with a flying tank. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there and I'm looking.
Tank plane thing is good enough, right?
And I get, you can sit there and say, well, how would they get it to him? They got a lot of other stuff to the white base and some really crazy things. And I get it. I mean, I know we're talking 30, 40 years after the fact, but still, if we're going to make this a side story, let's still kind of keep it in everything here, where it's like, okay, we can make it a little bit more detailed, make them a little bit more cooler looking, but let's not make them where this is UC 96 stuff in UC 79. And that was my big thing of it. And even the GMs were the same way. They all had the attachments on them, and I'm just like, what this doesn't seem like 1 year war stuff. I don't know. That's just me. And
of course it gets worse in the manga when we get to the Atlas
Gundam.
That's a story for a few minutes from now.
Woo! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree pretty much with a lot of what you guys are saying. I will say that I got to me, the unlikable characters I thought was the point, though. I thought that the author kind of went out of his way to make everybody have some kind of disposition that you don't latch onto these people because they are the product of war.
It's unnecessarily grim dark of like, war is so hard, I'm gonna cut my wrists. Oh, there's so much edge here.
Well, people build
edge.
But you can have people that are ugly and that have a lot of warts to them.
Yeah.
But you can still make them compelling. Yeah. And that was the thing, is like, none of these people were compelling. Okay, maybe they were awful people that Claudia's a drug addict, but there was nothing about them that even a moment where you're just like, oh, I get this, or they're Claudia's a product of this because this or this happened. They never just took. All they had to do was just one little step back. You didn't even have to like go and do a whole dissertation of like how he was born and he brought up you just got to go like one little moment that says, okay, this is what happened. This was a turning point. and you don't get it. So in the end, you just don't care. It's even with like Daryl and Kara. It's like, okay, her dad had a fake hand. He was a poor combat guy that lost his legs, and he's and once again, it just shows you the idiocy of some of the Xeon. Some of them were just so brainwashed into, this guy loses his legs, and then next thing you know, they're like, we want you to be part of this thing. He loses his hand, and then they do the whole RoboCop thing, and you got to lose the other hand to do the, to drive the Zaku. And I'm just like, in the end, what were you going to be? Because I think part of the problem is we know that with Gear and Zabi, the whole idea behind the Zombies, they didn't want people like Daryl and the living dead people around. Those would have been the first people they would have executed if they would have won the war, because they didn't want them, because they saw them as genetic, misfits and stuff like that. You don't, even though they lost their limbs in combat, they don't want those people, because that wasn't their ideal of the perfect space noid or the new type.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I found that kind of a misleading thing when in the manga specifically, when they show them meeting Girin Zabi. In the anime, they significantly took that out. They actually replaced them with just generic people. But you remember in the manga, when you're reading it from start to finish, when they're getting their awards for their job well done on the battlefield, it's Girin Zabi that's actually talking to them and presenting them with the medals and all that stuff. And it's like, he would have never even acknowledged these people, because he's all about new types and he's about the next evolution of mankind and all that stuff.
He wasn't about that. He was all about his James Bond super weapons.
Yeah.
But more like the Dolos and the colony laser.
But he also admired Adolf Hitler, as he had that speech with his father somewhere in the series. So
I mean, he wasn't. But also too, do you really want to show guys that lose limbs? Because it means that, that's kind of a, it's not a rallying type thing. But I don't know. That was kind of like the biggest thing to me was just, and I get it, because they need to sell models.
Yeah.
So of course they want to make the Gundam. They don't want to just make it boring. It's 2016. You got to keep this thing going. But kind of, I think in previous iterations of side stories in the 1 Year War, flawed or not, they've done a better job of kind of keeping it within what we know of Gundam, first Gundam. This one, it was just like, I didn't, outside of them saying Federation Xeon and it's the 1 Year War, you really didn't know it was UC-79.
Yeah.
Also, why did the Xeon have such horrible, like, medieval level prosthetics?
Yeah. I didn't get that either.
Those things look worse than what we have now.
Yeah.
And what we had for a while. Like, they're like just primitive claws that make no sense when you have advanced mobile suits. Like, you can't have like a decent prosthetic with five fingers that functions like a real hand.
Yeah,
you can make a miniature fusion nuclear reactor to power a mobile suit, yet you can't make a prosthetic hand that doesn't look like, a second generation
Pirate's Claw.
Because that one commander, where they're at the briefing, he's got the claw up there, and I'm like,
what do you think
that's just ironic? Is he just trying to be ironic or something? Because he's like ship's captain and I need a claw.
I think that may have something to do with the kind of the aesthetic they were trying to keep along, because not only did the music sound like it was
aesthetic?
Well, not only did they try to keep music kind of in the era of like the late 40s, 50s, and early 60s, but if you look at like some of the technology they were using, there were iPhones in it and all that shit too, but if you look at the radios they were using, they were kind of throwback retro type stuff that they were using in the show, and it kind of had a retro feel, I think, to kind of fit in with the 1 Year War, to kind of make it look like it was a dated time. I think, and that's the reason why the prosthetics may have kind of had a retro look too.
Why don't you make it within the 1 Year War?
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that story, and I do think it's kind of interesting that Xeon is using some type of special unit used of disabled soldiers to try to bolster their mobile suit forces. But once again, they never communicated why that's needed or why anybody really should care. And then again, everything is so fantastic. It's like, does Armoro beat Io? He does, because he's Armoro. But in the end, It's like, if you have that freaking advanced of a mobile, I mean, for God's sakes, they were trying to get the Alex to freaking Armoro, but Xeon had a different story, that prevented it from them. Why would you? That was my biggest thing. Is just kind of keep it within what we're looking at. If you want to make this a completely different Gundam thing, or if they made this part of like UC 90s, then it would have made a little bit more sense when it comes to the technology. But in this one, I just didn't get I didn't feel like I was in the 1 year war. That was my big thing. I needed to kind of feel that, because the 1 year war, it was advance of technology, but they still had limitations. I mean, the RX-78-2 was amazing weapon, but it still had limitations. The freaking full armor's got none of those. Yeah. I mean, it's got stuff that even I don't even think the Mark II or even the Zeta could do.
Oh my God. Yo, shout out to Amani Marks, who says, because the author doesn't give a shit, it's basically his own vision for what the first Gundam and the follow-ups are like, which is part of what I think is a major problem with the work. That kind of leads into my major problem with it, is it seems like too much wish fulfillment for what a Gundam series would be for like a big-time UC fan. I wouldn't say a lot of what appeared in this I actually dug, because it's things I've always wanted to see, like the grittiness and the grizzled pilots. I never thought of paraplegics being utilized in war, because usually if you get injured in war like that, they send you home. But in this, they have a special division that keeps the people going, because Xeon was so tight on people. I guess they were desperate enough to do this.
But you're assuming that.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Like that. Once again, that's what I'm saying is, you could have just put in a line of dialogue, just saying, thank God for Living Dead. If the Living Dead thing works out, this will help bolster our faltering pilot things. There's no reason. We don't know why they're even doing this. Why would you put all that money and effort? And I know the Xeon were stupid and they were trying for super weapons, but in the end, this super weapon really makes no sense. There are other ones, they were all pie in the sky type of things, but using disabled pilots to do what you can get able bio pilots to do, I mean, it would almost make sense just to take a bunch of rookies and put them in a bunch of Zaku 1s and 2s and see who fares out of it, and then give them the upgraded unit, because that's what they were doing anyways at that point once they were losing the good pilots. So it just, I don't know, it didn't I don't know what it was trying to do. I think it was just an aspect to sell models.
Yeah.
I think Sunrise has drawn from the well just one too many times of, here's some Xeon ridiculous super weapon that could turn the tide of the entire war.
Yeah.
It works, and then obviously it doesn't, because it can't. So it won't. So it's like, oh my, how many freaking times are we going to go through this with some other ridiculous super weapon that could change everything when we know it won't change anything?
Yeah, that's...
And the thing is this is even a bigger stretch, because at least the other ones, there was some big gun or some big crazy weapon. This was a bunch of guys trying to pilot it, or sniping, using old mobile suits and stuff like that, or that are retrofitted for disabled people. It made no sense. I mean, it's just...
Not even that retrofitted, as we see in the epilogue of the movie, that Daryl struggles with his stupid claw to pilot a regular Gelgoog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he's not jacked directly in, he's pretty screwed. Oops,
not doing so well now, huh, buddy? Missed those hands, huh?
Yeah, the sacrifices people make. We got a pretty nice critique here from Raw to Raw on Twitter, and he writes, been pondering this a while, but do you think that Thunderbolt is what happens when a fan focuses too much on parts of a work? And what I mean by that is, as neat as the manga and the OVA were, it reminds me a lot of the mindset that a lot of Gundam fans have. That being that they like UC for the grittiness and don't want to engage with things like the new types, which in my honest opinion is the heart. Gundam is a story about human potential, for better or for worse, as much as it is a war story, and some just want the war. Gundam Unicorn, for all its issues, felt like it stayed true to the heart of UC. So Thunderbolt is like 0083 to its 0080. Oh, damn. Nice.
I don't know about that, because I just think Thunderbolt was just like Chris said. It's just Sunrise going to the well one more time of, we're going to give you one more side story in the 1 year war, and there's going to be some crazy thing that Zeon's going to try.
Yeah.
That there, and then luckily the Federation Forces has another Gundam prototype sitting around that we won't give to the best pilot. You know, I mean, like I said, at least with the Alex, we knew that thing was going to him. It was just those Zeon guys had a different, you know, they were trying to prevent it. This, it's like, why would you give this to this guy? This should immediately go to the 13 Autonomous Squadron.
Just like the Alex should have gone there too, instead of being tested for as long as it was. Yeah, there was a reason to that.
But the Alex was prevented because Zeon attacked.
Absolutely.
But this one, it's just like I think it's just going to the well one too many times. I think you have there's interesting things on this, because you have a different story. You have the disabled troops. I get that, but I don't really know. I mean, it just doesn't seem part of use. It doesn't seem part of the 1 year war, really.
Well, there is, I think, truth to the question, because at least with Western fans, there's a lot of people who adore the OVAs like 80, 8th MS Team, 83, Igloo, and don't care at all for the TV shows, because, you know, those are teenagers with superpowers and they want gritty, ugly old men. And in this rush to be the edgiest of edgelords, I've seen already a bunch of people proclaiming Thunderbolt to be, you know, the embodiment of everything that Gundam is and the best thing to come out in ages for Gundam. And it's like, what crap are you all watching? What judgment do you have to make these horrible pronouncements? The Thunderbolt is the best of Gundam. It's not even the middle of Gundam.
Yeah,
it's not even the mediocre of Gundam. It's just kind of there.
It's there. It's a nice. I would say it's a nice prism of what the 1 year war could be. And you know, I don't know if this is even canon.
It's a toy commercial.
It is. It's a disposable snack.
Yeah,
it has no like satisfaction after you've.
There's no strategic value in the side 4.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, okay, they could have done something with, you know, yes, it's Zeon supply lines, but do you need to devote 7 manga chapters to that? I mean, I know they don't, but they do about 3, but still, it's just I get that we've had enough with, and we've had plenty of gritty people, but in the end, let's really think about this, because they do show a glimpse of it with all those young recruits that come in for the Federation and end up getting killed.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the 1 year war, that's what the pilots were. They were young on both sides. So a lot of those gritty guys, they're not there anymore. They're space dust.
And you brought up the other volumes. You might as well expand the conversation and include the manga as well at this point. But
I have to.
And we might as well. I will say this. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever read or watched. I actually had fun with it when I just let it boil down to its most simplest aspect, which is the battle between two men to see who's better than the other. One of them is kind of a victim of the war, and the other one is kind of an anti-hero, a douchebag, a guy who, although he is straightforward with his men, EO is straightforward with his men when he gives speeches and tells them about the fact that what he's there to do, and I do enjoy that aspect of the character. I love the fact that this man is so different from any other Gundam protagonist I've seen be the pilot. I am actually rooting for Daryl to beat his ass. I really want to see Daryl just put him in his place, because, you know, how can you not?
He won't, because he's piloting a Gundam.
Yeah, but I mean, he beat him before. He tore him apart.
Yeah, but the final thing, he
got saved by a Thunderbolt.
Yeah,
in space,
he really did.
Well-timed Thunderbolt.
So did EO earlier on. He got saved by a well-timed Thunderbolt twice.
It's just ridiculous that they both got saved by this same stupid phenomenon.
Exactly. Yo, God ain't giving a damn. But but yeah, I like I really enjoyed for the sum of its basic parts. Although now we're getting into the later chapters of the manga, it's kind of diversifying itself between a whole bigger cast, and we see a lot less of Daryl, which I'm sure that's to your delight, Chris.
I mean, I don't hate the guy. He's just
Yeah.
a completely like bland person who
Yeah.
means nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really get to see him get characterized all that well. He's kind of like the nice guy who stands up for his man. He doesn't really have much of an edge to him.
The thing that I have an issue with him about is he's doing all this, but what has Xeon done for him? Like,
Yeah.
and that ends up being like sometimes, and you know, even in this manga, so they go to the end of the 1 year war, and then we're seeing that interwar period between the Titans and the end of the 1 year war. So we're seeing the Xeon remnants. I'm still trying to get why, after everything, why were the Xeon remnants fighting so much? What was the ideal so much that they had to fight for? Because you never really get that clear of like they want Space Noid independence. I get that, but they don't have anything left to do. I mean, and even at this point, they're the Republic of Xeon.
Yeah.
So, and then we're seeing the whole situation with the Federation, and now we got the monks who kind of remind me of that whole situation with the South Seas Alliance. It all it screams to me is the 1 year or as the UC version of Orb. Like we're the technologically advanced different thing that's going to be between the two different superpowers, and that whole thing is kind of dumb too. And then we got
I got a different impression of that. You're talking about the religious
the South
religious
Seas-
fundamentalists
South Seas Alliance
that are blowing themselves up. Man, I'm kind of reminded of today's headlines in some cases. In that front with a kind of a fanatic religious group doing acts like that. Man, it kind of. It kind of gave me a reminder of some, of certain recent events, and
only because
it's so edgy and deep.
Oh,
Crazy people blowing
only-
themselves up.
yeah, but only because they're trying to keep away technology that they took.
yeah,
And yeah, I don't get that correlation. The only correlation would be suicide. The suicide attacks, but that's a whole different situation. But it just comes into one of these situations again. Is like we start introducing something into the 1 year and into the UC thing that's like, okay, if this is really that big of a thing, why haven't we really seen it before? And why are we introducing something if the Xeon remnants were this much of a problem? Why don't we just focus on the Xeon remnants, and then maybe these guys are just kind of helping them? But we got it where they stole the technology for the Ryu Zaku, and now they're kind of like this autonomous thing, and I don't even get any of that. And once again, we don't even really get any background of why it's even like this.
For God's sakes, why is there an underwater Dolos?
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing ever. There's an underwater Dolos.
it is awkward.
Just hiding, just chilling in the ocean. How did it get there?
Yeah.
Why is it there? What is the purpose of an underwater Dolos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems that the artist made some pretty eccentric choices.
And once again, this is 0080. What is the technology of even doing that? Like we've seen there's still limitations, but now we're having an underwater Dolos, and all the suits even balls are going underwater. I mean, I thought the balls were just worker droids, space worker things. And now I don't know. It's just kind of ridiculous.
And it's like, oh, hey, look, yet another Pegasus class ship from out of nowhere.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
talking about the Spartan?
We needed even more of those, including another one that looks completely different from all the others before it and after.
And the big king of the Spartan is it's got these detachable pods that can become basically the transport things. I mean,
So basically reading this was a slog, and it wasn't it's potential kind of
space monks
Mm-hmm.
who commit suicide and brainwashed
Well-
Claudia as their commander.
Yeah.
And it's like, why
Why
what is going
Claudia?
on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about the women for a second, because I do want to bring that up. I hated the depiction of the women in this. I hated it so much. Claudia especially. Now it's pretty edgy, as you brought up earlier, that she had a drug problem and she was dealing with like the guilt of like sending a bunch of people to her death. But I mean, she's in charge. She could resign from her role at any time. I don't see why she was dealing with all this guilt and grief over and was mad at Io because he found a way to process it and she didn't. It's burned me up that it's like she was a raving lunatic, and then you have what's the name of the other girl? The girl on Zeon's side, the scientist, Kara. She has issues with her father, and
She regresses back to like
yeah.
a child,
yeah.
and they're trying to get Daryl to help her grow back up, and it's all
Yeah.
weird and creepy. Like,
Yeah.
what the?
She gets a beam saber reboot.
The only one I didn't have an issue with was the girl, the Bianca girl.
Yeah.
She's all right.
She's dope.
least-
Yeah.
Well, at least they show a woman that's a pilot
Mhm.
that survived a bunch of battles when they were like doing the whole tattoo thing, and she's like,
Oh, yeah.
these are all the squadrons I've been in." It's like, okay, for now we get to see that at one point, they were having to bring in female pilots, and she's there because she's good at what she does. She's a survivor. She was kind of like the one thing that was like, if you take her and put her in any of the other UC side stories, she would have fit in perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was within it. Because in the end, this is a UC side story, and I put it in this thing. What does this do for the UC timeline, and what does it do to enhance anything when it comes to the 1 year war, interwar period? Nothing. I mean, you can sit there and say what you want about 0083 and 0080 and all these other ones, but at least they did something. I mean, I know people give 0083 a lot of crap, but at least we see the rise of the Titans and why the Titans became what they were. There was something going on. Okay, it was a latch ditch effort by Xeon remnants and blah blah blah, and that was a terrorism act that really meant something. This whole crap, it's like, who even cares? And why would the Federation even give a crap at this? Because they have all this. Why would they even care about using some type of thing that disabled pilots are using to plug in their prosthetics? Because they got all the other crazy technology that the Xeon did. Who cares?
I mean, that is indicative of like all the crazy experiments that were going on during the 1 year war and post that. And I
But
don't.
still, what is it? They sit there and say, oh well, we could do this with, if a regular pilot dialed in like this, but they already had that with the SciComm system.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is just one of these situations where, why would you even care? It's like, to me, the SciComm, where you can actually get into the person's brain and they can do it as they think, is much better than sitting there plugging in prosthetics or whatever they were doing. I mean, this just seems dumb. Once again, what does it enhance the UC? How does this make the UC timeline richer and fuller and the 1 year war period fuller? I didn't get it. I didn't see it.
Imani Mark says because it makes cheap super soldiers. Yeah, I mean it would allow like to reutilize kind of resources into having like these elite pilots that could actually fight better than the average pilot, I would say.
But spending all this money and resources that Xeon doesn't really have to do this. I mean, they were already spending, and you can go into that whole thing, but in the end, it would make more sense to have the SciComm, because that'll give you. Because in the end, these guys are flawed. What if something happens? They get jarred out. Their prosthetic gets dislodged from the input or something like that. The SciComm, we always saw, that's just part of it. Granted, it drove those people crazy, but still, I don't know. It just seems like kind of it's just trying to put another layer to something that we never really got an explanation why they were trying to do this.
I do want to clarify my statement from earlier. The main two females, at least in the OVA, I didn't really care for them. But the women that show up later on in the manga, as like Bianca, as you guys mentioned, are absolutely cool. I do like how they've been introduced and whatnot. Some of the other characters I did like was Cornelius, who you guys can see on the screen right now. I thought he was pretty awesome, even though he's kind of more of a bystander than anything. And then Sean, which we get to see a little side story with him in the manga later on, with him being kind of a junk guild type dude. he was the Living Dead pilot.
To be honest with you, that was more interesting to me than
Wow.
a lot of what was going on in Thunderbolt.
Mm-hmm.
I actually would rather see the quote unquote vultures of the UC side
Mm-hmm.
more than what was going on with the Moore fleet and the Living Dead people, because there was no reason, we never got any what their motivation was on any of this stuff. These guys, at least, are trying to make a buck off of all of the and it makes sense, because then they ran into those guys that were posing as Federation, but they were not. They're just they're just pirates like themselves. That was more interesting to me than the other stuff.
You read a manga of that, huh?
Yeah.
It's
I'd
pretty
watch
good.
that.
Yeah, it's untapped potential, I would say. I will say that I like the time period of post 1 Year War, because we don't get to see it that much. I think we've seen it in games, but we really haven't seen it. Yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, but I still think the manga has potential to grow, and where they're going with it right now, where they're kind of part of a crew that's in the patrolling the Pacific. I think it's the Pacific. I forget where, but they're patrolling. They're part of a group that's trying to find Xeon remnants, and then you get to see Daryl's side of the situation, where they're just trying to blend in and kind of keep their little cell together. I do like that, because that was one of the aspects of 0083 I did want to see more of when that was going on, and we only got a little taste of that.
But they're
So
fighting crazed monks.
yeah, the monks is
Yeah.
that's
Crazed monks who are
Yeah.
brainwashed by some messed up, experimented upon new type
yeah.
monk guy
Who turns out
who was
to-
collecting dead people, and then became this crazy cult leader. Like, what? That this is so stupid beyond measure that I just cannot believe that this is actually being done in a Gundam story. Like,
Yeah.
Cue up some Destiny for me, for God's sakes.
Yo, damn! You said the D word, bro.
You know what? I agree.
Give
Oh
me
my
the D.
god! Give
Yeah.
you the D.
Give me the D.
Give me all the D. Yo, shout outs to Deacon Blues, who hit us up with a bunch of nice scans of some upcoming images from Volume 8.
Creepy prosthetic sex.
Yes, creepy prosthetic sex. Deacon Blues on Twitter. He's been hitting us up with some great visuals at Zeonic Scans on Twitter, by the way. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And he also confirms they're in Southeast Asia. I should have remembered. I'm sorry about that. But thank you, Deacon. But
and why again would you put the loser Moore fleet into trying to take out the these crazy monk guys? I mean, at this point, the Federation, yeah, they're still kind of smarting from the 1 Year War, but militarily they should be pretty. I mean, they hell, you could dispatch Armoro over there. They probably didn't. They probably haven't took him out of service yet. You could have brought him in and brought the white base in there, and they could have taken care of those idiots.
Man, I
don't know how quickly they got rid of those guys. I mean, yeah, the white base was destroyed, but
Yeah.
I mean that faction and stuff like that. I just once again, it's just this whole thing of like this crazy experiment of new type guys able to exude all this thing by the only interesting part about that was they showed what was happening to the bodies. They had somebody taking care of the bodies after the battles. That was the only thing interesting about these monks. Other than that, I don't even know and understand what their whole thing is. And then they have the ability to repurpose the reuse Zaku, and then they got all these Federation mobile suits that they can. I mean, what the hell is this?
yeah, plus they have the scientist, the one dude, I forget his name. They got him on their side, so they're using his expertise in order to kind of continue his work.
I mean, I know the Federation became stupid and bloated and bureaucratic in Zeta, but they can't be this stupid at this point where they're not locking down any scientist, no matter if they're Federation or Xeon. They're locking down all those guys.
Yeah.
And how this guy would escape and this little country would be, this doesn't make any sense. It really does.
They
You
locked
have
down
the
the.
Atlas Gundam, which looks like something
Yes.
cool for like the UC 90s.
Yeah.
It's like, where did this thing come from? How is this suit around mere months after the end of the 1 year war?
Especially before the GPO 2 and GPO 1, because they don't even look that advanced, and they come a couple years later.
No,
yeah,
the Mark II.
Yeah, that's right. It does. It looks even more advanced than the Mark II.
and I think in some ways it looks a little bit more advanced than the Zeta itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get it.
Yeah,
It looks like something that should be around like between the new and the unicorn.
Yeah, this series is
Yeah.
some ways anachronistic, in some ways, in some ways, but behind the times. It's just
It's
strange.
anachronistic in some ways of looking forwards,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in some ways looking backwards.
Yeah.
in a way that makes no sense when combined.
yeah. I mean, to me, this whole series seems like fan fiction in the 1 year war. It seems like a 1 year war fan got the chance to run amok.
You're insulting fan fiction.
Oh,
'Cause there's actually
damn!
been
It's not that
there's
bad.
actually been some
Uh-huh.
UC fan fiction I think's better than this.
God damn it!
So yeah, don't do that to these poor people bleeding their hearts out on UC fan fiction.
I will say
this is just some freaking. I think in a lot of ways probably a Xeon fanboy, because I definitely see that. And he's Japanese, so most likely he is.
they got the sympathetic characters, more sympathetic than the Federation.
And, I mean, and it's just everything is just out of whack, and I think a lot of it comes down to too of Salaryman of Bandai saying, "Hey, we need some models to sell, and we can't have the RX 78-2 is the iconic suit, but it's not as cool as that Age 3, So that's a lot of it too.
I will say some positives real quick, just for the manga. The artwork was horrible in the beginning, but it got very, very good. I'd say in volumes 6 and 7, the artist, the gentleman behind the manga, he's definitely stepped up his work. Maybe he has more assistants. I don't know, but the character designs were awful, but they've actually gotten a whole lot better. I would definitely say his work is a lot tighter. Yeah. I noticed the progression in his work. If you've read a lot of manga in your life, you've seen the progression of an artist's work as they go from volume 1 all the way up to.
I wouldn't say it was like noticeably, or
dude,
much better.
That first
I
volume,
think it was better, but
dude, the background faces in the first volume look like two dots in a line. And then in this one, he actually goes out of his way to do more detail work. And the mecha designs have only gotten better since it began. But I would say that the artwork
he's got the UC9. He's got the the UC 96 art book to trace off of.
UC 96. He's got that. He's a time traveler. But
he's got this brand new unicorn art book that he could trace from.
Absolutely. I also do like the setting. I want to see where we're going to go, how long this series is going to go. I know you guys want it to end already, and we may revisit this in the future when
I want it to be already.
You want to be done?
I wanted it to have been over before this.
I'll be
I wanted it to have never existed.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. It should have ended after at the end of the 1 year war. This whole thing where it's a valiant effort to show the interwar period.
Yeah.
This whole thing was space monks, and it just is. I don't even.
It's a time we don't get to see, though. That's what keeps me reading.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean. But if I want to see, if I want to see this time, give me something that doesn't. It actually makes the time seem stupid. I'll be honest with you. I mean, as interested, and I do love interwar periods. I think interwar periods are probably because those are where the next war always is the genesis from. But in this, it's like. This does nothing to show, because the whole thing we know what happened in the First Grips War is because of the Xeon remnants and the Titans. This has got nothing. I mean, there's just nothing in it where it just there's even a glimpse of this, of even the Federation being heavy-handed. Because really, what made more sense is if you could have had these space monks come in, and then you just have the Federation go, okay, you know what? You want some? We're going to bring in 3 fleets, and we're just going to completely obliterate this place. And then you're going to see. Then you could probably sit there and say, wow, they just wiped out these people. And then people among the world are going, what the hell is up with the Federation? Why is it being so heavy-handed? That makes much more sense than space monks led by some douchebag new type reject from this other lady. Well, we did these things 15 years prior to the war. It's always like, I don't even get this anymore.
So, bro, here's some food for thought for you.
Go for it.
Just because something is set after the 1 year war doesn't make it good. Case in point, the last episode of 8th MS Team.
Yeah, that's true. But I think this man can write himself out of a corner. I really do. And I maybe I'll be the lone nut in the group that thinks
what evidence makes you think that he could write himself out of what he's written himself into?
Because the series has now become, it was predictable in the beginning, and now it's not as predictable as to what's happening.
It's just because it's predictable also does not make it good.
I know. The random is not always good either. I understand that, but I'm gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt, as I said earlier, sadly, and I'll see where he takes us.
We're gonna have to watch it.
Because I do think more OVAs are coming. I think that if this did well, I think probably once a year they're going to drop those ONAs and then make a movie, and they'll probably keep adapting the series.
And I saw Deacon Blue said in the chat, there's a volume 8.
Yeah.
So we know there's probably going to be at least another 2 volumes after that.
Yeah.
I would imagine, to wrap this thing up if that's what it's going to take. But yeah,
I don't know that Sunrise is going to do more Thunderbolt, because why then did they not have any teases for the post-war arc and show stuff like Raven Fu recovering all of this junk and laying the foundation for that?
Yeah, they didn't even show the monks at all.
Nope, not at all. It's like they just completely excised them from existence. So that says to me that they don't even want to touch this post-war arc.
I mean, if they do, it allows them to kind of have a cold open with the monks if they do another series.
Don't.
But I guess we'll see what happens. I do have some tweets real quick before we get into our ratings that I want to acknowledge real quick. Shout outs to Austin. He says, I can't say I care much for the Thunderbolt ONA. It felt like I was watching cutscenes from a Gundam game, unlike the manga. And shout outs to Austin. Thank you, sir. Yazi says, I know Sunrise loves making red Zakus, but why does Psycho Zaku have the exact same color as Johnny Ridden's suits? Why they always got to be red?
Nobody cares about Johnny.
Yeah, the poor guy's never going to get his just due that everybody wants.
Yeah.
It's the tease to all the Johnny Ridden fans.
Continue to be shitted on. Shout out to Yazi. Thank you, sir. Flame X says, the animation style and design reminded me of Paul Oda King's Johnson's TIE Fighter short film. It does have a retro look. I like how the art style might be clunky in the manga, but I think it translates well to animation. And
here's an idea. Instead of having an art style with a retro look, why don't you have a mechanical design of a retro look? Because when you got shit that's from the UC 90s and the UC 70s, something ain't right.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix and a blunderous mix of that. Yeah, it doesn't always work.
Yeah, I mean, I get where everybody's like, oh, I love the retro look. Yeah, okay, great, but
it looks like it has to fit in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to always, and that's a problem with the series. But shout out to Flame X. Thank you, sir.
We're fighting the Zanskari instead of the fucking Zeon.
Yo. Exactly. Yazi says, good luck finding a non-asshole in Thunderbolt. Aside from the mechanical friend, everyone else is a horrible person. Sean, I thought, was fun, too, and he was on the enemy side. Yeah, but it's definitely teaming with dicks.
I like Bianca.
Well, there was
Bianca
also
was cool.
poor doomed guy in the Gattle.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't he the bus driver? I think he was the bus driver.
Basically, he was the bus driver.
Yeah, he was the poor dude. That guy was cool. And then he was dead. Oh, man. Yo, Yazi, thank you, sir. Yazi also says, if you think about it, Daryl is the second person in the Zaku to take down a Gundam, even though the Psycho Zaku is special. He also adds, Bernie did a better job, especially in this outmatched Zaku 2 FZ. Damn. Yo, them burgers been served. Yo, and
actually, you know what? That's insulting, Bernie.
Did he just besmirch Bernie? Is that what he did?
Well, let's be honest. Bernie had to that Zaku 2 had some issues. He had Al, an 11-year-old kid, help him fix the damn thing. He wasn't all that enamored with.
I mean, a young Asian boy.
Young Asian boy in a
yes.
little airplane sweater. And he really didn't want to fight anymore. He wasn't all about the cause at that point, but he still takes out the Gundam. This guy's plugged in like RoboCop into this stuff. And, you know, he's a true believer of, I don't know what the hell he's believing, because he wasn't part of that. He wasn't part of the post-war world with Xeon the way he was looking.
Yeah.
And, you know, no, that's insulting Bernie. No, I won't stand for this.
And all hamburger proprietors around the world.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, Neo has spoken. Bernie finally gets the respect he deserves here on Gundam.
Bernie always had his respect.
He did.
He became a tasty lunch treat.
when he didn't go good with a side of ketchup and fries.
Main course at Wahlburgers.
He did. Oh yes, yeah. We bring it back to one. Good shit. Well done, sir. Good stuff. You haven't lost your touch. Yo, also, props to in the chat. What's his name? The Phantom Killer. He said the show is missing characterization. Oh, sorry, he said Thunderbolt is only missing the characterization. I think all the characters need some work, I would say, but yeah. If anything, thank you for that. As well as the HOD saying having Neo back for the news and a great and a new Gundam at MAHQ episode is a great birthday present. Shout outs to the HOD. Look at that, man. Yo, he's here. Yo, that's what's up. And I think we got one more tweet before we give our
I'm
ratings.
toasting you. It's Satori time.
Hey, yo, real quick, Fred, he must object. He says, honestly, Thunderbolt is one of my favorite Gundam shows / manga. I got to disagree with you guys on this one. Fred, I enjoyed the OVA. I think it's an actual very good adaptation of the manga itself, and it moves fast and they cut out the fat. I thought in that front it did very well. I just think it has to work on some things, to be honest, on its concept moving forward. Everything. But yo, Fred, thank you, sir. Yo, shout outs to Fred.
Actually, you know what, Fred? Do this. We talked about. They said that the Gundam movie trilogy is going to be on YouTube for free. So when that comes out, watch that. Then watch Thunderbolt or read Thunderbolt. See how it's done compared to what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Then come back to us and say what's your favorite.
It's incredibly slick looking, man. Like as a movie, I could definitely show that to people and say, "Yo, check this out." And
it look like a greasy shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's good.
It's not terrible either.
No, you know what? Isn't everybody always telling me, "Oh, well, you like Michael Bay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like the action. It's great." Yeah, but
come on,
the story sucks and all that. Blah blah blah. Isn't this deja vu coming back on? This
you were trying
a freaking life.
My
revenge is coming. I see this.
You tried to judo fucking move me?
Yeah.
Take my mask and turn it back on my ass. Good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit. You're terrible.
Well, it's not basketball season, so I'm not terrible.
You're not terrible yet. No. We'll save that for Sir Charles. But all right. We have definitely talked about Thunderbolt. I know we're coming up on 2 hours here. But guys, we're gonna go ahead and bring it to our ratings for the show. You got Chris. What would you rate the OVA movie first and foremost? What would you give that?
Well, I was lazy and just gave it an average of what I had given the 4 episodes.
Listen to you.
So it worked out to about 3.5 space meths out of 5.
There you go. And Neo, what is your rating for December Sky?
I give it 2.5 out of 5 what the fucks.
There you go. You go right to it. Yo, shows in the chat. He says, judo flip. Yo. If anything, I will give it 4 drumsticks out of 5. Although it needs work, I think it's still. I still see a good production there, and I want to see exactly how they're going to take the series further. I don't think it's that bad. It moves fast. It's well paced. Production's on point. Some of the characters do get on my nerves, but I think that's intentional. I really do. I think the characters are none of them. Very little is to be liked about those characters.
I'll give you this much. I think the final battle will be Io versus the Shaolin Master. So that might save it. Maybe we have a little Shaw Brothers final battle going on, but I'm not gonna think of it being that too much.
Somebody call Gordon Liu.
Yeah.
Are we gonna give
the manga? Yes, we are.
Ratings for the manga?
Yes, indeed. We'll turn it back over. We'll go ahead and give the ratings. Chris, what is your rating for volumes 1 through 7?
I will give the manga 2.5 out of 5 crazed space monks.
There you go. Neo, what's your rating for the manga?
I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5, or no, actually 2 out of 5 prosthetics.
Nice. Yo, Yahtzee says, Neo, I think the problem with this ONA was that there weren't 36 chambers.
Well, that would be more the manga, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. I will give this I give the manga so far going up to volume 7. I'll give it 3. It's barely passing, but I'll give it 3 out of 5 sets of prayer beads and exploding monks.
That's 66%.
There you go. So it's
65 is usually passing. That's a D.
There you go. It's passed. A 3 out of 5 is passing on Rotten Tomatoes. So there you go. If we were ever get if they don't ever get shut down, maybe one of these days we'll get on there. One of these years. But
whoa, what do you say? Gundam Thunderbolt's rated higher on Rotten Tomatoes than Suicide Squad?
Oh damn it!
Oops.
Damn, yo, you're about to set the chat on fire. But man, that's our discussion of Gundam Thunderbolt, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, December Sky, and the manga volume 1 through 7. I do say check it out on your own time, and you guys can check it out also on Zionic Translations if you want to check out the manga. Here is the website if you guys have never seen it before. There you go.
Check out the good stuff on Zionic Translations.
Yes, please. Deacon Blues puts in some work. Check him out over at www.zionic-republic.net. Hit him up, tell him we sent you, and again, many thanks for him.
Guys?
Yes, sir.
We shouldn't really be plugging methods for Thunderbolt when it's been licensed by Viz.
Oh, well, let me fix my face.
I didn't know.
No offense to Deacon.
Well, shout outs to Deacon. But yes, buy it legitimately when it comes out here in the States, please. I think I will do just that. Oh, there you go. You already pre-ordered it? There you go.
Go read something high quality on Zionic, like Crossbone Ghost instead.
Yeah, read this.
Soon to be adapted into an OVA, as I hear on the interwebs.
Really? Oh my God, no.
Mr.
Just in the wishful thinking of deluded fanboys.
Deacon says thanks for the plug. Hey, yo, Deacon's done a lot of work on there. There's a lot of translations for stuff that's not come out of the state. Mm-hmm.
Tell Mr. Deacon to email me because I want to send him an official Gundam and MAHQ T-shirt because I still have those.
Oh shit, yo, man, so the T-shirts are back, baby.
Why don't we have a little plug for those?
I still have some left. I can't remember all the sizes I have left. So definitely email me at Neo MAHQ about your sizes and stuff like that.
At gmail.com.
Yep, and gmail.com. But yeah, I want to, Mr. Deacon Blues. I think you've earned yourself a gratis one. So
gratis one.
But nobody else, you're gonna have to pay, and I'm just gonna keep them at the $10 price plus shipping. So just give me a shout out. Like I said, I have about half of the initial 50 that I bought left, and if people still want them, just let me know. And if we need to get more, I can definitely do that. But just hit me up on that. And but yeah.
Right on, man. So Deacon Blues, hit Neo up over at
And everybody
Neo.
else hit me up, but just
Yes.
don't ask
With
for it.
money.
With money,
Yeah,
yes.
with money.
Neo
And
MA.
don't say that your name is Deacon Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna fact check you. So
NeoMAHQ at gmail.com. Hit him up. And if you want to get a t-shirt, definitely helps to support the show, guys. So please, by all means. You've been listening to episode 179 of Gundam at MAHQ, where we reviewed Gundam Thunderbolt up to date, volumes 1 through 7 of the manga and the OVA movie, December Sky. Again, I will ask you guys, both Chris and Neo, anything you guys wanted to... We won't have time for mailbag today, but we're going to do a mailbag sometime in the near future. I wanted to...
so bro, if you want, and I know Chris has to go because he has things to do, and I don't know what your plan is, Soul Bro, but if people wanted to ask me any questions, I could. You know, I don't know if I'm that important. Catch up on things or anything like that. Because to be honest with you guys, I've been out of the loop on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I just ask you to be respectful when it comes to what I was doing. So there's certain things I can't do. I can't tell you, but I'll definitely share in what's been going on with me while I've been gone, and show. I wish we could get Kilgore tank shirts. I really do, and there needs to be a market for that. But
I actually have a shirt concept for Kilgore, but I will save that for you.
Yeah.
I will tell you about that behind closed doors.
But yeah, I mean, if that's what we wanted to, if people wanted to stick around for that, that's fine. If not, that no big deal. Doesn't hurt. Not going to hurt my feelings. But,
My
I
God.
just want to thank everybody for having me back, and thank you, Mr. Chris and Mr. Soul Bro, for having me back. I know it was a little awkward. And I think I'm back in the saddle of things, but
yeah, you did fine, man. Welcome back to. I mean, honestly, it's like you never left, man. Because we had been away ourselves for a while, and then we got back into it by just jumping into the whole live show thing. So
and it's different. And I wanted to kind of feel this out because I didn't know. Like I said, I heard about it being live.
Yeah,
I didn't know what that meant. And I didn't.
Yeah.
And I just needed to know, and that's one of those things that you have to kind of do. So if Soul Bro is willing to do that, people let him know. That's fine. Mr. Chris, thank you because I know you have things you have to do, and
it's called Watch This Rogue One trailer.
Oh, that shit dropped! Oh my god! Damn!
And you're excited to test out your Windows anniversary.
Oh boy! All the bells and whistles.
Don't fail me now, anniversary.
Well, real quick, I could stay on for another 15 minutes, man, and people
That's
can ask
fine.
you questions.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
But before we do that, Chris,
all night.
anything you wanted to mention or give a plug before before you take off for the night? Unless you want to stick out for the next 15 minutes or so, then we can do
Up to you,
do
Chris.
that.
You do what you want. I know that Rogue One awaits.
To quote a certain Starfleet commander with a badass goatee and bald do another time, perhaps.
Another time,
there
perhaps,
you go.
which is fine because Chris has got to wake up early tomorrow anyway. But anything you wanted to mention before you head out, sir?
I hate everyone.
There you go. Well, shout
Enjoy
out to
that
Chris.
Rappuccino.
Before he goes, make sure to follow him on Twitter at Gundam MAHQ. Sorry, at MAHQ.net. He runs the official Twitter for MAHQ.net. So make sure to go there and follow him. Also follow us at MAHQ.net as well. At Gundam at MAHQ and also at CTcast. Chris is part of the Chaos Theater podcast. You can check that out at chaostheater.blogspot.com and on iTunes at Chaos Theater. Anything cooking for Chaos Theater as of recently? Are you guys still coming up with the Suicide Squad review, right?
Last episode that we did was on Uncharted 4. That's been out for a while. I've just been too lazy to do the posts about it.
I've been playing that since I've been off. When I came back, Chris, I'm halfway through. Still good.
It is so good. So listen to our comments on that, and of course you can find Chaos Theater on Google Play now as well. And coming up next, we're doing Batman.
Batman.
New 52 Batman.
There you go.
With 100% less lung cancer.
Oh my God.
I think I have lung cancer by being in a place where they have no restrictions. All the pipes into the cars, no mufflers, no catalytic converters.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was coughing up some shit. But thank you, Chris. Rachel. Oh wait, that's what's his face. That's Saggy Face. Rachel.
Yeah, that's your boy.
I actually don't mind that actor.
Oh, yeah.
But he was just so horrible. Rachel.
He overcooked it a little bit, I gotta say.
Yeah,
But-
always a one.
No doubt. But Chris, man,
Chris.
sir, I hope you have a good night, sir. Paul and I will hang on for a little bit longer so that way people can get their questions submitted. But sir, I hope you have a good night.
All right, catch you all later.
Take it easy. All right, stream. Let's see what the stream has got to say. Yo, Darren.
Yeah, I
Darren's-
don't know if I'm that important or what, but like I said, I can just tell you some things, not everything. So just be nice.
Darren says, I just missed it. Damn it. Chris says all is for nothing. The void will consume everything. There you go. Imani says, I really loved IBO, but it had some serious moments of spinning in his wheels before they caught up with what they wanted to do next. Not gonna lie. I got a question for you, Neo, actually. Did you watch any anime while you're out there? Like, did you binge any anime series at all?
I watched. I was like I said, I was watching Iron Blood Orphans. That was on Hulu.
Absolutely.
So I watched that the first season. I watched the first half of the Voltron series.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really wasn't. Some of the people I was hanging out with, we were doing a lot of like just movies and stuff. And I introduced some of the people I knew hadn't been introduced to some of the Kevin Smith movies, so I did all those. Yeah, because like one of my favorite like movies actually of them is Chasing Amy. So I had this girl that I knew, I had to show her, because to me I think that's the perfect like relationship movie when it comes to like how fucked up relationships can be and how stupid people can be when it comes to people's past and things, which is always a killer in a relationship. But yeah, other than that, I really didn't see much because you're in a different country. And when you're dealing with different IPs at times, it's just hard to get some of the streaming. And like I told you off air, I had a hotspot and everything's cellular.
Yeah.
So, when the sky was clear, it was fine. But, from about March on, we were getting the upper atmosphere sandstorms because I was in the Middle East. A lot of times the shit would get a little choppy. So, it was just easier to do streaming, and there just wasn't that much there. But there's a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. I realize that. So
I don't know if Neo can get into the details of this. I'll let him tell as much as he can. But we should kind of, I guess, delve on this. Abi Rao Abene, he says, "Yo, where have you been, Neo?"
I've been in the Middle East area, a lot of the Gulf states, and Southwest Asia. I've been to Kuwait, was where I was basically out of most of the time. I've been to the UAE. I've been to Qatar, and I've actually been in Afghanistan and Europe. So,
Oh man.
yeah. So I was there for work, and that's about what we'll leave it at. So.
Yo, Fred says you should have shown them Crystal Triangle or Angel Cop. I'm sure he's gonna throw in our Odin. the trilogy of the worst animes to watch. Let's throw in some Armageddon for good measure. Show says, how many people did you kill?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Oh my god. Let's see here. Fred says that was next. Darren Worthington says Neo is Captain America. Oh,
Not in the least bit. So.
He's taking super soldier serum. He just hasn't told anybody yet.
Nope.
But did you catch up on any TV shows at all? Like I know you watched.
Yeah, actually I did. I was watching Stranger Things, of course.
Yeah.
Watched that. I started watching that courtesy of Mr. Show
Absolutely.
for letting me know about that. And then I had read about it, but then he really solidified. When Show tells me to watch something or that he wants to watch something,
Mhm.
it's the weird thing is like him and I are kind of on the same when it comes to a lot of things. There's certain things that we're not on the same, and we can be diametrically opposed on certain things. Like my guilty pleasure is Michael Bay, his is Roland Emmerich. But but we still kind of respect each other on that. But I got that. I watched the Daredevil season 2, which I thought was better than the Daredevil season 1.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it should really be The Punisher's Lament is what it should be called. I tried watching the Jessica Jones. I watched up until about episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But then it got a little like it just kind of lost me. So I wasn't really watching that. Of course, I kept going to Modern Family, one of my favorite shows.
Oh yeah.
I was up on those seasons.
That's a rainy day show right there, boy. I will blow out some Modern Family. I need to get caught up.
And you saw who's coming in the next season, right?
No, I didn't. Who's coming the next season?
Mr. Nathan Drake himself, and from Firefly.
Shit! You talking about? You're talking about Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion? Yes. I mean, now that he's out of work. Captain Malcolm Reynolds. Was he a next door neighbor, or is he marrying someone in the family or something?
I don't know. I just saw the headline. I watched that. I watched the newer season of a show I was watching, The League, about fantasy football.
Yes.
That was it. That was fun.
Yazi has an incredible question. He says, what is your thoughts on Game of Thrones this season?
I thought it was better than the previous season.
Oh my God.
And I will say that for the first time, the last episode was better than the second to last episode. And I know the second to last episode had the battle, and the battle was the shit.
Yeah.
But damn, Cersei blew up the fuck out of that thing. And they tied up every loose end in that shit. It's like every little hanging dick freaking thing that was going on. It was like, I was so pumped. I was like, thank God. I was watching it with somebody in another agency I was working with that was in my building, and we were watching that because my HBO app worked over there, my HBO app. So we were watching that shit on Monday nights because of the time difference. And it was good because it and I love seeing the return of the Hound because that was that was great because I immediately thought of Show because that was his man. So. But
what about the Battle of the Bastards, man? How well shot and fucking
it was amazing. But what I'm saying is, in every one of the previous seasons, the second to last episode was always better because the last episode of the season was always the one that's like it's low key, it's the transition to the But that one, it's like holy fuck, she just blew up that shit. And it was because I was so tired of the Sparrows, man.
Me too.
Like, and like my friend, he was like, man, these guys have got to go. I'm like, they got to go, yeah. And that shit was on, and she looks so evil as like she reminded me of Maleficent.
Yes,
when she turned on that the black outfit.
Oh yeah.
But and then finally we get to see my girl, the Queen of Dragons, finally going west. It wasn't the problem. You can finally go west, girl, with your armies and shit.
Finally,
we've been talking about it for 3 freaking years, 4 years. Now you can finally go west. So. But yeah, I think it was much better than the previous season. Even though this previous season was still good, but if you're gonna rank them, I mean, that's
How about
because we see what's going to go on. We know next season's going to be the uniting of humanity, and the last season will be fighting the fucking White Walkers. I mean that's coming down.
Yeah, man. How'd you feel about how Ramsay Snow went out?
I didn't give a shit.
Oh my God, dude!
I was a little sad about seeing Dr. Bashir get taken out like
real quick too, right? Like the first opening moments of the season, they aced Dr. Bashir. I was pissed.
But it redeemed those poor girls though, because I was so like, because he heard about these girls and they looked apart and they're sexy and all that shit, but then they really didn't do crap.
Yeah.
And then finally they because I do like what's his face is Oberyn's widow. I like her. She's very sexy.
Really?
woman.
Oh, she got on my last nerve, especially when she turned on Dr. Bashir like that, man. Fuck that.
Yeah,
bro.
but Chief O'Brien wasn't there to have his back. So if he was, then would have been no problem. He was in the holodeck playing that hollow.
It was a holodeck simulation all along.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
was a little pissed. I wasn't too pissed about Jon Snow coming back because it's the thing. The only thing that I have an issue with is you don't get a sense that he's been changed. That's the only problem that I have with it. Because at least we knew with the other. Remember the other guy that kept getting killed, that the Hound killed, like in the previous, like 2 seasons ago. The guy that they brought back, he always said, you lose a little bit of yourself each time. Well, Jon Snow was dead for a long ass time, and it just didn't seem like he really lost anything. And it doesn't have to be like really noticeable, but you should see something where, once again, like we were talking about the Thunderbolt thing, it's like you can just have a little thing where he's like, I just don't feel right, or or maybe he's doing something maybe he wouldn't normally do. You just don't get that, and I think that's one downside that I get from that.
Well, I think there's some parts of him are definitely changed. Like he killed those dudes. Sorry, the guys who conspired against him. Like he even killed Ollie, who sucked, but he had it coming. But I mean, he's
killed people before though. For lesser shit.
But you can see he had more hesitation. He just said, "Fuck it."
I don't know.
Flame X says John became slightly more merciless. I think that's true. He did,
I just there's needed to be a little bit more. But other than that, I mean, he's the one selling the tickets because in the end, all the fanboys and fangirls want to see the Jon Snow Daenerys love couple.
Oh my! Yazzie asked if how you felt about Jon Snow coming back, because he said he remembered you said you didn't want him to come back at all.
Well, I didn't because it puts you in the one thing that I've always respected about Game of Thrones is motherfuckers die and they're dead.
Yeah.
Like my favorite of all characters.
Oh, Tywin
Lannister.
Oh my sweet lord!
Because he was the shit. I mean, that man was the shit. He's dead as shit. Yeah. And
he still is.
And as much as I love that character, because he was the only one that got it. He's the only one that got it. And that's the one. And I get it. There's a magical aura, yes. But the problem is Jon Snow's always been presented as the freaking Jesus Messiah figure. So, I do have love for Bronn too.
Yeah, Bronn, man.
I like Bronn too, because now that since Tywin's dead, it's Bronn, and of course,
I'll be mad if they kill off Bronn, and I'll be even more mad if they kill off the Onion Knight. Those are my dudes. I think both of those guys will die. Oh yeah. I mean, if they go during the fight with the undead, I'm cool because they went out, they served their purpose, they went out big.
I think Bronn's gonna go out like that, and I think my theory, I actually think poor Onion Knight's gonna do it after he kills the red bitch.
No, I think the red witch is going down south to where those ladies are. I forget what the name of that nation is, but she's gonna end up going down there, and she's gonna end up reuniting with them when their armies converge, which will be interesting to see. But I think the Onion Knight's gonna go out.
And the old bitch is still alive.
Oh yeah.
Diane Rigg.
Hell yes, dude. She put the bitches in their place too.
I was so glad that she stayed alive.
Yes.
Because I was tired of what's her face, Marjorie. I was like, that bitch has been with like 3 different kings. That bitch needs to die now.
Yeah.
And Tommen, fuck him. He was. I mean,
Tommen.
he had his point. Yeah. He had his point to be the man, but he never took it. So, that's the way I see it.
He was too thirsty, man. He wanted to bang his wife, and then his wife ended up getting blown up. But still, please.
I mean, but still, the thing is like. You got to let them nuts drop a little bit. And you're the goddamn king. Shoeless guy. And I felt bad because I finally figured out that guy was Keira Knightley's dad in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
I watched
one of my favorite movies when I had to watch Curse of the Black Pearl because this is the best of the Pirates movie. That's the best one.
You talking about the first one, yeah? Yeah, the first one is the best one by far. Yo, Yazzie says, and Neo Brewmeister Smith, thoughts?
He went out like a G in JJ Wars.
In JJ Wars, he also went out like a G in Game of Thrones. After showing Homeboy what to do. Yo, what about Hodor, man?
I didn't feel that bad,
man.
Because then I saw on YouTube later on he was spinning later on that night.
Yeah.
So. Hodor breaking it up.
Woo! Oh my god!
I actually saw that during Comic-Con. I guess he did a spinning session because he's a DJ in real life. That actor.
Yes, he is.
He did one down there, and that was another thing I was happy to see that San Diego Comic-Con wasn't Hollywood Con too much this year.
Yeah, because some studios didn't come out this time, and
well, thank God.
Yeah,
and I was reading that the event planners were they were trying to shy away from that too.
Yeah, it was a little different this year. It was still more packed than it ever was, though. Man, they had more people out there this year than they ever have. And then Hall H there was a mob to get in that place as usual.
We're streaming. Why would you even leave your fucking house?
That's what I'm saying. They were streaming on Comic-Con HQ, and even if you couldn't see some of the extra stuff that they were showing that they didn't want to put on camera, but you're gonna see it soon enough.
You'll see it 15 minutes later.
Yeah,
when they're done with the stream.
They dropped the Doctor Strange trailer. WB dropped everything. They released everything. If you didn't have to be in the panel, they released everything they showed. So that was cool. But yeah, Marvel, we're gonna see it soon enough. I'm not in a hurry. I mean, as much as I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy footage sounded really awesome, it's like right now I want to focus on Doctor Strange and see how good that movie's gonna turn out, because we kind of know what to expect for Guardians. Doctor Strange, if you read the comic books, you have an idea of what to see, but I just want to see how well it translates to the screen. And right now it's looking really good.
And I'll be honest with you, and I'm in the minority. I think he's a good actor. But I just don't get, like, everybody's always like, Benedict Cumberbatch is this amazing fucking actor. I don't always get it. Like, I've seen him in a lot of things. I saw him in the Alan Turing movie, which I thought's a very good movie. And of course,
The Fifth Estate? I'm thinking of the other movie.
The Turing equation is one of our preventions against the robot apocalypse. So of course I'm going to watch these things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, these
required
things,
viewing.
The Turing question. Yeah, basically. But I don't see him as being like, I always he's just amazing. I'm like, I think he's good, and I do. I think he's a good actor, but I'm just not blown over by any of his performances. So it might just be me, but what do I know?
True. Real quick, Mal hits us with some breaking news. He says Will Smith's Bad Boys 3 to be pushed back to 2018.
Doesn't matter.
Sony's next installment of the Bad Boys franchise has been pushed back from June 2nd, 2017 to its release date.
You can push that shit to 2020 as long as it is amazing. I don't really care. I mean, and the people don't either. Bad Boys 3, people are gonna freaking eat that shit up, dude.
Yeah,
because as much as everybody sits there and they hate on the Sorbet, every one of these bastards, everybody loves Bad Boys, and Bad Boys 2 they are fun movies. And you know what? Sometimes I just need a fun movie. I don't need all this freaking character development. But what's good about this, it's got a beginning and a middle and an end. In Bad Boys 2, there's 2 endings, but still, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, and Sorbet's busy.
Sorbet he's very busy.
Because I got the box set of the Blu-rays for Bad Boys 1 and 2. I watched 1, and that's the one I don't always watch that much of. That's a pretty damn good movie. I mean, it's good for what it is, and when you read the backstory of like who they're, like they were supposed to have like John Lovitz and stuff in that. That was the original for like Mike Lowry. I was like, wow. I'm glad
what?
They did what they did. Yeah, if you ever actually read it, it's like I think like John Lovitz and somebody else is supposed to be Mike Lowry and Marcus.
That'd have never been a franchise. That'd have been dead on arrival.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can only imagine that fucking train wreck. Holy shit. Terrible, dude. Oh my god.
Armageddon was fun. I did rewatch Armageddon when I was out there. I had to, Boy, that's a fuck you, America movie. Jesus Christ. But Bruce Willis did save us.
He did. He did.
So we do know when the asteroid comes, we just send up Bruce Willis in a shuttle.
Back when he was still phoning it in. Oh, I mean, back when he was, he didn't phone it in as much, I should say. Man.
No, he didn't phone it in on that movie.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I have some stories about him being a dick on the set, but what else is new? Oh man, let's see here. Trying to see what else people are asking here. All hail our metal overlords, though. Darian Wethington says. Oh my gosh, I think Neo would definitely argue with that. Yazzie says,
be careful what you wish for. I mean, the Tesla autopilot crash.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was the first, and I'm actually, I'm at odds with Elon Musk and a lot of his vision, but I'm wondering why he hasn't brought this up more. That, and maybe he is in secret Tesla meetings. That this could be the beginning of the Skynet. This could be the beginning of the robots going against us. So,
man. Yo, Yup is in the chat. Shout outs to Yup. He says Hodor ruined the whole series. Fucking time travel bullshit.
I think in some ways you can say that. Yeah.
Oh man, I love
just keep carrying that kid.
I love literally that wrinkle in time. I think it's been something that's been theorized for a while, but to see it actually come through, I'm all about that. I love me some time travel though. I'm not ashamed of that.
Only if it's in a DeLorean.
Yeah.
Or in a DeLorean.
Yo, here, Yazzie, you really want to answer this question? Neo, thoughts on Batman v Superman?
Oh, well, I got freaking shellacked on that.
You did? Oh shit!
No, I was actually looking forward to watching Batman vs Superman because I kept kind of, and I don't mind Batflick. I don't mind him at all. And I was reading some good stuff about it, and then I went to go see it with some people I know, some friends of mine, and they're all like, "Dude, we could have seen something else." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry about that." Everything without Batman and Superman on the same screen could have been just put on the cutting room floor. All I gotta say is Martha. Yeah, okay. But of course, the whole thing with Jewish Wonder Woman and then Kal Aquaman. That was kind of cool. I get what they were trying to do, but once again, like Zack Snyder, it's so long-winded and and stuff like that it could have been done better. But hey, he's the one with the Hollywood directing job, and I'm not. So what can I say?
He's definitely a unique director.
Hey, man, he's dialed in. He's doing the other movies, so you can't. I mean, as much as people can shit on him, the guy's still got a job. So the powers to be still think he knows what he's doing. I'm just saying.
I mean, for me, I was okay with the theatrical release. I did think it was
better than Man of Steel.
Yo, man, what? But now I actually like Man of Steel is my favorite movie out of this new canon. And then I would put the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman right below that.
What the hell is the ultimate cut?
Ultimate cut, they actually cut 30 minutes from the movie when they released it in theaters initially.
Cut, they from the movie.
Dude, it makes a lot more sense when you watch it. It doesn't change Martha. It doesn't change.
I'll have to watch that. Then,
yeah.
My big problem sometimes is these movies are too freaking long. I mean, as you've always heard me say, sometimes the movie's like 15 minutes too long. And
no, you're thinking of the backwards way. I'm saying that the movie came out in theaters.
Added 30 minutes.
Well, the initial cut of the film, when it was shown to like test groups, it was 3 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
And people actually enjoyed it. Then they wanted to get more rotations in theaters, so they cut off 30 minutes of it to make it 2.5 hours.
So they add 30 minutes.
Yeah, what they did is they put back in the scenes having to do with kind of the undercurrents of what Lex was doing and who he was manipulating,
and I hated that.
Yeah,
and I will say this. Hollywood, Mr. Hollywood. Not every Silicon Valley guy needs to be this eccentric, crazy guy. It's okay. Some of them, if you ever watch like things like Bloomberg TV or CNBC, some of them are just normal people, and they just had a vision. They don't have to be this crazy guy that just does this. it's okay to just have them as fucking, because in the end, they're just fucking businessmen.
Yeah.
I mean, they can package it whatever they want. In the end, they're just trying to get rich like everybody else is. So that, oh my God. And I don't mind that actor, but I think he was the wrong casting.
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg? Yeah,
he was the wrong casting.
He played it badly, man.
He's not a bad actor.
Yeah.
But for that, I just was like, oh, it's just crazy. I'm the crazy Silicon Valley guy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, no, just stop.
I hated his portrayal of Lex. Like, I don't think Lex in movies has ever been played well by anybody. Even Gene Hackman, who I like, I think his Lex was kind of just real cornball.
I think when it comes to all the things on film, though, it's probably the best portrayal. Because if you really look at those are the closest to the comic books, those Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah, I mean, of like the way the comic book used to be, sure.
Yeah.
But to me,
it's a product of its time.
To be, no one's beaten Clancy Brown from the animated series, or even Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. I think those are still the best two Lexes. The Michael Rosenbaum, by far, I would have cast his ass in a second for BVS, but they don't want any kind of like even tangential connection.
I think what's his face, Space Heisenberg would have been good.
He's a
little old.
Yeah,
but I think he would have been okay.
They should have went with him. I mean, I don't know whether he turned the role down or if they wanted to go with kind of a younger, hipper.
He was too busy trying. They were going the younger, hipper.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's all it was.
Yeah, but wasn't BVS Lex on point with the cherry Jolly Rancher?
Kind of was. I will give him that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean,
I don't say it was a train wreck. Phantom Killer says it was a train wreck. Train wreck is Star Trek Into Dumbness. That's a train wreck.
Damn.
Batman versus Superman.
It got his knees cut out from underneath it, man.
It's a slow moving fender bender.
Yeah, because I talked to Chris about this, and he said it's not going to change Martha. It's not going to change the dumber parts of the plot. And it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I will say that the movie is far more comprehensive. It makes a lot more sense with some of the sub plots that are going on with some of the minor characters.
And let's be honest, not all the Marvel movies are fucking amazing either.
No, what?
Ant-Man?
Oh, I love it. What?
I watched it.
Yeah.
It was pretty formulaic, and I think it's good because it introduced the character, but I don't want to see Ant-Man 2. I
can't wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love me some Ant-Man, dude.
I think he just works as a background character.
So you like that better in Civil War than in his own film? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I wanted more of Michael Douglas. I would rather see Michael Douglas Hank Pym younger.
Yeah.
Than the whole thing with the current Scott Lang Ant-Man, which I think it's good because it introduced him and he should be part of the Avengers. I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I'm just saying as a standalone, I don't need to see Ant-Man 2. Maybe as Ant-Man and the Wasp, okay, that might work a little bit better because it's an ensemble, but I just wasn't completely feeling that. I felt there was a complete drop-off when it came to, I think the previous one was Guardians. It was a complete drop off, and then it gets uplifted with Civil War, but not as much because as good as Civil War was, it's still not Winter Soldier. I hate to tell people
you're absolutely right.
I hate to tell that to people, but it's like
if I was to rate them,
War's good,
but
it's not Winter Soldier.
Well, but what is? There's no. To me, Winter Soldier is the best MCU film that they've ever put out. I'd say Civil War is the second best.
It's tied. It's tied with Avengers because I still got to give it to fucking Avengers because the shit they pulled off in Avengers. Nobody pulled that shit off, and they pulled that shit off seamlessly, dude.
And people have been copying it ever since.
and there are. It's not perfect. I get it, but fucking so many ways to have so many characters like that, and it makes sense. Oh, it's still good. But I will say, Winter Soldier. Every time I fucking see that movie, I'm like, holy shit, this movie is so much better. But I mean, Civil War is very good, but it's no Winter Soldier.
Yeah, to me, it's Winter Soldier, Civil War, and then
put Infinity Wars in one movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all they did is they're making 2 separate films, but one is supposed to follow the next for the Infinity War.
It's going to be one movie now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're calling it Infinity War, but they are making another movie that comes out the very next year.
They're not doing. They weren't doing what they were originally going to do and make it 2 movies.
Oh, so they're just not going to. Okay, I thought they were just calling this one Infinity War, and the next one's going to be called something else.
Originally, it was going to be 1 and 2. Infinity War 1 and 2. They're
putting
it down to 1.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I finally saw Deadpool when I came back.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true to the comic.
Oh yeah.
But it's an okay movie. There's great
scenes.
There's great scenes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And god damn, that girl's hella hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the companion. Oh my
the
god,
companion.
She's I had this discussion with Sho, and it's like, and I gotta kind of agree with it. She might be hotter in this than she was in Firefly, even though she was super hot in Firefly. She had the long wavy hair.
Mm-hmm.
But and Ryan Reynolds, as people know, one of my favorite actors. I love the guy.
Yeah.
But there are parts of Deadpool I just got kind of bored. So
really,
I just did. And the only problem that I have is it's stuck in the Fox universe.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too. I mean, for $48 million, they did wonders with that movie. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why they couldn't afford. They even made fun of it in the movie, how they couldn't afford like big set pieces and whatnot.
Well,
but
and I get, and I love the fact that they were true to the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah,
I do get that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I get that, but the movie's got issues, and I'm not going to sit here and, I mean, granted, up against Age of Apocalypse, it looks like a fucking winner, but Age of Apocalypse was the coulda, shoulda movie of the year.
Yeah.
Because they fucked that movie up a little bit.
Yeah, they did mess it up quite a bit. Age of Apocalypse, I really left the theater disappointed at the end of the day, because when I saw that, I was expecting something on the level of Days of Future Past, or at least to me, out of all of them, I still like First Class the most. But I know, I know. We reviewed First Class years ago, all of us, and I remember First Class really wasn't your bag, right? But I loved First Class. To me, it's the best X-Men movie so far.
The only issue, I mean.
But Days was good. Mm-hmm.
But First Class, it's like, okay, I get the whole, but I like Kevin Bacon, but Sebastian Shaw, and god damn, they've never done Emma Frost right.
No, not yet.
That really bothers me, because outside of just being the super hottest comic book character ever, she's a fucking amazing character when it comes to backstory and everything like that.
Well, you didn't like Betty Draper?
Betty Draper?
Yo, Birdie?
I was waiting for her to just start lighting up and smoking the whole time, to fucking Sally.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it was good. It's set up, but Days of Future Past is so good, man.
Yeah,
because you get just classic fucking evil Magneto.
Yeah,
like straight up not to kill a Magneto. It's like, damn, that's some good stuff.
And on the other side, you get Magneto coming to grips, finally listening to Charles in the future.
Yeah.
And they're finally coming together and
get that tension that those two fuckers had.
Exactly. They finally come to terms.
Then the thing of X-Men is those two guys. Mm-hmm. And you kind of get it in Age of Apocalypse, but then I don't know. I think Apocalypse is just that. I think it's that character that just doesn't. You remember when I said years ago when they said they were going to do a Thor movie, and you were like, I don't know about that, and I said, I think it'll work all right, because I was never that enamored with Thor as a comic book character.
Oh yeah.
But then looking at it as part of what they were trying to do, and I thought it would work, and it ended up working.
I was scarred by Masters of the Universe and how bad that movie turned out, and I was afraid.
And I'm not shitting on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying there's certain characters that I think lend themselves better to the comic books than they do live action.
Yeah,
and I just think that's the case maybe with Apocalypse, because of all the X-Men villains that you could have done, and yes, he's the biggest and baddest of them all.
Oh yeah, they took the time getting it to him too.
I think it would have been better to do more of like, I think really going Mr. Sinister would have been made more sense, which they do Prelude at the end.
Oh, they sure do.
But-
Him and X-23 as well.
Yes.
Yep.
But I think that Mr. Sinister was as a live action character would, and once again, what do I know? You know, it's I'm not working for them, but you just sometimes see that stuff and you're just like, you know.
Oh my God. Yo, Yazi says Masters of the Universe was more entertaining than The Rocketeer. Well, Yazi, The Rocketeers is going to come out soon. I hope you're ready for that for the next not anime movie night. Yeah, they're making a sequel
I like
to
the Rocketeer.
I do too. Yazi's the only one that hates it.
Why do you hate that? Because
he watched it on not anime movie night with Show and myself.
You know why he hates it?
Mm-hmm.
And Solbro knows about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a sucker for old Hollywood movies. And
Yeah.
the reason why I am is because my mom and me and my mom. Well, the other day I talked to her and we were talking about movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk. And I always remember watching these old movies with her, or having them on the thing. And you know, I just like these old Hollywood movies. And The Rocketeer, it's not perfect. It's very simplistic, but it's just got that old Hollywood vibe. And, you know, it's got the good looking because goddamn Jennifer Connelly's hot as nuts in that.
Oh, sure is.
And you know, you have the dashing freaking you know, hero, the Rocketeer, and you have the very one-dimensional villain who's always gonna, instead of just taking care of business, he's just gonna bloviate about shit. But you know, it was, and of course, it's set like in the 30s. I think The Rocketeer is set in the 30s.
It's in the late 30s, early 40s. It's right before we entered World War II. It's back.
Yeah.
We let the Nazis
The
on our soil in
Nazis.
that movie, and it's like, yo,
Yeah,
what?
we weren't at war with the Nazis, but we knew about them.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm always a sucker for those movies. Hence why I love the Indiana Jones movies.
Mhm.
But, you know, it's not perfect, but shit. I mean, Rocketeer is it's a fun movie.
Yeah, Yazi asked, they're making a sequel? Yeah, apparently they announced it at Comic-Con. They're making a sequel called The Rocketeers. They're trying to bring back Billy Campbell, who is the lead in the first one. It's supposed to take place...
Oh, he's going to pass it on?
Yeah, he's passing it on, and it's supposed to be... What's that?
That could be cool.
Yeah, the one of the main leads is supposed to be an African American girl. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but apparently the technology comes back into the forefront, and when it does, they've got to go ahead and take action. So I hope my boy Alan Arkin's coming back, man. I got to see that old timer. But it's supposed to take place in the 50s, which I guess makes sense because the first one was in the late.
Maybe a couple 20 years, 20, 30 years later.
Because it's been pretty much been that long since the movie came out in theaters. So, yeah.
Kind of like what they did with Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull. I mean, they were trying to, you know, he was all those movies. I think Raiders was. I think chronologically, Raiders is the latest of those movies because I know Temple of Doom chronologically is the first movie, and I think Last Crusade. Is Last Crusade after Raiders? It must be after Raiders.
Timeline-wise, you're right. Temple of Doom is the first. Raiders is the second, and definitely the further out of the trilogy, the
favorite.
Yeah,
I still love Temple of Doom, man. No Nazis.
No, yeah, it's completely different
because it's so easy to make enemies out of the Nazis.
Mm-hmm. It's an easy thing to pick because that's Hollywood's favorite villain to.
And Willie's so hot.
Yo, Wilhelmina.
Yeah.
Hey.
Which I think actually she ended up marrying
Steven Spielberg. Yeah. What's her name? Kate Capshaw. Yeah.
Boy, did she cash in on that?
Boy,
Holy
did
shit.
she! Like she never had to do another movie for the rest of her life.
Fuck no.
Whoa, that fucking cash train.
Hey, he's a fellow alumni, man. He went to Long Beach State too, just like me.
That's right.
So, yeah, man. I'm in that. I got that same type of pedigree.
You're in that echelon of human.
Not when it comes to making movies.
Oh my gosh. Yo,
maybe in saving money in movies, but not making movies. But shit.
Man,
Any other great questions from the folks out there?
I'm trying to see here. Yazi says, but nothing could beat Dalton's role as the slasher of Prices and Hot Fuzz. Yeah, that's right. Timothy Dalton was the villain in The Rocketeer. Yo, the slasher of Prices. I still been
I thought you meant Dalton is in Roadhouse, because I did rewatch Roadhouse with somebody when I was overseas.
Oh my gosh.
God damn it, I can't believe they're gonna redo that movie.
Yo, the Double Deuce with your girl.
I don't have an issue. I know she needs work because she loses now.
Oh,
but
has she had another fight since she lost? I don't think she's fought, right?
Actually, you know, the funniest thing is the first time I ever watched her fight, she lost.
Oh, it's your fault.
I worked with, she was into MMA. She loved Ronda Rousey, so we're watching it. We're watching this like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and now you have to realize in the Middle East, their work weeks are Sunday through Thursday. So they're not, and so we respect that. The U.S. respects that. So those are our work weeks, and you know they're not Monday through Friday like we have here. Yeah. So we were watching that on the TV in the break room, and I said, she got hit. It was like in the first round, and Ronda Rousey got hit. I think she got hit with like a kick, and I told my friend, I was like, she's going down because she looked shook. Oh, and I've watched enough boxing in my life to see when somebody's got shook. She's like, no. And then, about a half a round later, she gets knocked out. I was like, this is the first time that was the first time I've ever seen her fight live. I've never seen her fight live. I've always seen, and she's like, you can't watch her fight anymore at this point.
You jinxed her.
I said, yeah, but that's another movie I think they shouldn't do. Because that's a good movie.
Well,
I mean, it's the Sways, man.
Yeah, upon her losing, I haven't heard much talk about the film. So we may not see a return to the Double Deuce, man. We may not see that for a long, long time.
You shouldn't have to remake all these movies. Like, I get that you want to update movies, and I get that. But some of these movies, they're just very good. Like, I mean, and even though they might be dated, I know. But you got to kind of train the audience of like, and I think this rolls back to like Gundam and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, they got like 70s haircuts and shit like that, but let's look at it for what it is. I mean, let's not always just look at the aesthetic of it and just be like, oh, this looks fucking old. Fuck this. You got to, I mean, like Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, that's one of the best. Casablanca to me is like, I love that movie. And what's great about that movie is done in it's got two set pieces. That's amazing.
It's you mean two was it two scenes basically, two locales. Yeah, it's got the club and it's got the airport, the airline, the airstrip.
When he's telling her goodbye.
Yeah.
Go on the plane.
And that's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's one big bottle episode.
So it's like, I get it, okay, it's in black and white and shit, but you can't sit there and tell me it's not fucking good. Like I also, I was, God damn it, I love about Hulu. They got Criterion Collection movies on there. I was watching true. Like all the shit. Oh, Kurosawa movies. The guy that everybody fucking in Hollywood rips off.
Oh yeah, man, including this September with the Magnificent Seven remake that's coming out. Oh yeah, man.
I mean,
with Denzel though, man, I can't stand in the way of that.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, it's like the last one I watched was Ron. I don't know if you've ever seen Ron. Ron is, it's got Japanese warlords, one dies, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The big thing about that's the visuals. But if you look about it, it's, compared to what we're used to in the U.S., even during, I think, the 60s, maybe the 50s, late 60s, it's low budget.
Absolutely.
Compared to the U.S. But it's so good, though. Like, you got to look beyond all that shit. Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia, Yazi says on there, they remade that shit. The original Lawrence of Arabia, I think, and that's something I was talking to my mom about, because she was like, how the fuck could they remake that movie?
That's a tough one to do.
Because they actually built sets on that movie, for that first movie. And that movie's good. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's a little, dated when it comes to certain things, but you got to look on it beyond just the aesthetics all the time. And I get it. I like pretty shit too. And there's a certain point of it, but sometimes you just, I get reimagining things, and I think there's
Yeah.
things that should be reimagined, but not everything has to be.
I mean, and a lot of remakes are just cash grabs, and I get that. But
They are, yeah.
I just don't think that people shouldn't remake things because stories get retold all the time, and it doesn't surprise me that remakes are always going to be there. They've been there for a long time.
What do they say? There's only 7 real different stories out there.
Exactly, and a lot of the greatest movies of all time are remakes of other movies, like The Thing, and I argued if you want, but
everybody rips
Scarface
off
is
Kurosawa.
yeah.
I mean, anybody out there, and I'm sure, and I don't know, I'm not going to go into people's stuff, but if you, and I'm sure you've heard about anybody that's never seen a Akira Kurosawa movie.
Yeah, they need to buckle
He's
down
the
and
guy
watch.
that all these guys, Spielberg,
Yeah.
Lucas, whatever it might be, these fuckers, all you Star Wars people, all the wipes and all that shit in the original trilogy, even the new fucking JJ trilogy, it's all Kurosawa. I mean, it's him. This guy is, and you got to look at it for what it is. And I mean, I was watching all that shit. Bridget Bardot movies. You ever watch those?
Oh yeah, I've seen a few. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, and if Show's still on, he'll know all the Audrey Hepburn movies.
Oh, that's his girl right there.
I'm a big. Yeah.
Holy shit! Real quick, I wanted to ask you. Did you hear about what The Rock said on the set of Fast 8?
Yeah, I heard there's all kinds of stuff, man. I mean,
He basically, for those that don't know, The Rock recently called out one of his male castmates on the set of Fast 8, saying that the majority of his castmates, all the females of his castmates are great, and he looks up to all the ladies. But he said some of his male castmates act like gentlemen, and then some act like total bitches. And he didn't really get into he didn't really parse out who it was, but apparently it leaked from the set that who's been fucking up on the set as of recently is Vin Diesel for Fast 8, and The Rock was calling him out, and it just to hear him talk that, because apparently I thought the behind the scenes for these movies were all rainbows and sunshine, man. Like everybody was cool with each other. They're about being a family.
If I was to speculate, I would say it would be based on this last movie and the death of Paul Walker.
Oh wow, you think so?
I think in probably some ways, I know it hurt Vin Diesel, and it should, because that was his boy, and and sometimes he might have kind of retreated a little bit and kind of became more guarded on the franchise, because that's kind of his thing now. I mean, let's also put in the business side of this thing. So everybody always talks about the artistic side of movies, but there's also a business side that really does everything. And Fast and the Furious, this is why there might even be some professional jealousy on this, because let's be honest, until Fast 5, Fast and Furious, the fourth one, was a good movie, but really what brought this shit back into popularity was The Rock being in Fast 5. Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's pretty much like that movie helped to put it on the map. And sorry about that explosion, guys. I didn't expect the video to start playing like that. But but yeah, movie 5 put it on the map, and it was The Rock. Yeah. The role The Rock plays. It got me to the theater, because I didn't care about not any of those movies. The only movie I saw beforehand.
I watched Fast and Furious in the movie. I think I watched it with The Wonder and stuff. And, and I liked it. But what really brought it over the top was when The Rock's in there. And I think, there could be some professional jealousy in there. I mean, I don't see The Rock. The Rock's one of these guys, and I think he's a wrestler.
Yeah. He also has an incredible work ethic, because you see all the movies he has lined up. Like he doesn't play around, because he takes his actual career really seriously, man.
He's a grinder.
Absolutely, he's got a TV show and 19 movies coming out in the next year, and it's
and
a YouTube channel.
And if he sees somebody taking off or something like that, I don't think it's beyond him to say, "Yo, what's going on?" Like, why? And I think Vin Diesel probably, since the death of Paul Walker, got very, he could have shut down a little bit, and he could have got real testy, and it is. I mean, that was a really sad thing that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the end of Fast 7 where they do that little tribute to Paul Walker. That's pretty fucking moving, man.
Yeah,
I didn't get misty eyed, but you get a little bit. I mean, I'm a man, so I'm not going to sit there and cry about that shit. But I mean, I'm going to, you're sitting there going, damn, that's some shit right there, because Paul Walker, there's a lot of movies I've seen him in. I kind of like him. Like, and he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah,
it was just a horrible way he died.
Yeah, people had nothing but good things to say about Walker when he passed away. I mean, that's the hallmark of a pretty cool cat, and he did a lot of charities and whatnot too. Like he outside of movies, he was just overall a good dude. So he might have been the heart of the filming of the movie. You never know. He could have very well been. And now they're kind of wayward now. But I certainly hope that Part 8 goes out. They have an actual YouTube channel for those that don't know.
Well, they're done filming.
They're done filming. If you want to see the entire production behind the scenes of the movie, every week on their YouTube channel, they've dropped a video where you can see some of the things that are going on with Fast 8. It doesn't really show you much, but there's some behind the scenes with the cast and whatnot.
My question is how hella hot does Michelle Rodriguez look in this film? Mm-hmm. She was hella hot in the.
Uh-oh. You there? Uh-oh. Hopefully I didn't lose you. Come on, Skype. Don't fuck up. I think I lost you. Oh, you're back.
You hear me?
I got you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was wondering how Michelle Rodriguez looks in this new movie, because she looked hella hot in the seventh one, man, in that red dress and stuff.
Yeah, she cleaned up real nice.
I've always had a thing for her, and like Machete, she looks the best.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn,
with that eye patch.
Well, without the eye patch.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think you got a guy like The Rock, and I think with The Rock, he's just a grinder, man. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be probably just him venting a little bit too, because I mean, this is a guy that he deals with all these Hollywood types, and they could be sitting there being prima donnas. And this is a guy that when he was wrestling big time, these guys do like 250 days out of the year on the road, and they're doing stuff, and so it's like, okay, maybe you're not feeling right or whatever, but he's got that work ethic of like, you still got to show up and do your best show, no matter what. And and maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know. I mean, really, what does Vin Diesel have outside of Fast and Furious at this point?
He tried to get that one movie off the ground, the Witch Hunter or whatever it was, and that failed miserably. Like,
that wasn't a bad movie. I actually saw that movie.
I heard it was pretty all right. Yeah. And then he's got Triple X coming out soon.
Are they doing that again?
Yeah, the trailer dropped a couple weeks ago, and it's the third Triple X movie, but it's second.
So stupid.
Yeah.
The second one's fucking ridiculous.
All day. But
it's Ice Cube, right?
Oh yeah, the second one was Ice Cube. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, when it comes down to it, it's I certainly hope the best for Fast 8. I've enjoyed Fast 5 through 7 so far, and it's got me watching. I even saw Part 3. Part 3 is not too bad. Shout outs to Shattered Blade of Norn. He says Paul Walker wasn't the best actor though, but I think he says something.
I mean, I'm not saying he was fucking
he never was.
But
yeah,
I mean, the thing I respect about guys like that is they always pick the. I think I'm not an actor, and I don't pretend to be one. Mm-hmm. But I think you kind of get the aspect that a lot of these people, they understand roles that work well for what they do, and I think. Paul Walker always kind of took roles that work well for his range. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you want Paul Walker to do some serious fucking period drama? Probably not.
Probably not. Just to complete what Shattered Blade also said, he said he was a nice guy nonetheless. Says SBR, few people are disparaged when they pass. To be fair, that is true. Like, most people are not going to talk shit about people, but when Donald Trump passes, that's going to be some shit. But that's not the here nor there. But man, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who watched the stream tonight, man, and also props to Neo. He is back on the show, man. Anything you wanted to mention before we wrap this up for the time being?
Well, I'm just gonna say it's good to be back. I think everybody, it's. I'll be honest with you. The reception I got tonight when I was watching the
chat,
the chat.
Oh yeah.
From the beginning, and when I did my little break into Chris there, that was very much appreciated. It's always nice to get that adulation, and thank you for everybody on that. I know sometimes my views or comments may probably not always coincide with everybody what they want, but you have to remember it's not being malicious to anybody or anything like that. And once again, it's my opinion when it comes to certain things, especially when we're talking about shows. But just give me time. It's going to take me some time to get back into this swing of things. I've been basically out of the loop when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So give me a little bit of, don't be too harsh on me, especially when I'm sure in later episodes something comes up that I don't know what Chris or Soulpro are talking about. It's not that I didn't want to, but sometimes when you're in your, when you're in a different situation and you have different things that you have to deal with, it just it's there. Thank you to Chris and Soulbro for having me back. Of course, I guess Gundam on MAHQ would not be the same without me because I'm one of the founding members.
Absolutely.
I guess it would be me and you or
me and you.
Actually, Chris is the new guy, right?
Yeah, he's always been the new guy to the end of time.
Yeah.
Although he's been in the show since episode 4.
Yeah, but he wasn't there in episode 1 though.
Oh yeah, no,
he's the new guy.
He didn't happen to be here. We conceptualized it, but Chris has been a incredible part of the show as well. As I couldn't imagine the show going on with any one of us. It was tough, man, to be honest with you, doing the show without you. And although we didn't get a lot of episodes in while you were gone, but just it's just like our rhythm was good because Chris and I, we can handle the show on our own too. But it's good having that third voice because it's not just back and forth; it's in a circle that we can all throw ideas and add to the conversation. And I like being in a group having a conversation as opposed to just a back and forth. And it doesn't matter whether it's just you and me or you and him. I'm so used to it being 3 of us and the occasional guest that I dig that kind of dynamic, and I'm really glad that you're back, man.
And I think that people have to sometimes realize, it sometimes seems like people gang up on each other. When it comes to the 3 of us, sometimes, and that's not the case. I mean, everybody, the 3 of us have much respect for each other, and when you do this for 100 and something episodes, I'm sure it was tough. I mean, be honest with you, it was tough for me because I would see the time. I was like, man, I wish I could do this. And sometimes I was just in these shitty areas, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I would watch stuff on the tweets, and I would go to the MHQ and stuff like that. But it's not the same. And the things that make us different or what makes us alike. I think that's what kind of helps it. And I'm sure because I remember times when Soulbro or Chris were off, and I had to do we had to do one-offs with each other, and it is a little tough because you're sometimes expecting that different point of view, or sometimes you don't even know what they're going to think. Because when it comes to a lot of stuff that we review, we don't really talk to each other prior to it. We try to keep it spontaneous.
Yeah,
you just don't know, and that's the thing. But it's good, and this new format. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and that's why I was very I wanted to just kind of be brought into it. I didn't know, and I didn't know how. I think it works well, and I think this whole thing and with you see the chats and all this stuff works really well with everything. So
I gotta really thank because what gave me the inspiration for us to do the show live was all these years Show and I did anime movie night, and how we just kind of got a rhythm down with that. And it's like we could do this with Gundam easily. And the one night that we did the presentation for not G Record, but Iron Blooded Orphans. Remember that night where they did that, and we had the chat and the screen and all that. That proved to me that between the three of us we could do this, take the show live, and it allows me to get the show out like almost the next day, because I'm just doing it uncut, and plus there's a version on YouTube. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed on youtube.com/Gundam MAHQ live, Gundam MAHQ, go there, hit the subscribe button. You can also watch live every other Thursday on youtube.com/Gundam MAHQ/live. I didn't announce what we're doing next episode because I'm trying to correlate with some others. There's a show that I'd like to review, as well as a game series I'd like to review, but I got to talk to Neo and Chris about it first to see if they're going to be free to do it. If not, we'll put it off until a later episode. But if anything, we still got to talk about what we're going to do next episode. Last week, we told them ahead of time we're doing Thunderbolt. So sometimes they'll probably ask, what are we doing next episode? It's like, allow me to announce it. If you guys want to find out what we're going to be doing, we'll announce it over on Gundam at MAHQ on Twitter, and also on the website at Gundam mahq.blogspot.com. Make sure to check those out.
And I'd like to say too, with all the listeners out there, you can interact with me if you want to. Email me. I may not always give me kind of space in the aspect of I may not respond right away, and it's not because I'm ignoring you or anything like that. I just may not be in the position to do it, but I'd like to hear from people anyways, because I really have been out of the loop on stuff, and I it's just been it would be nice to kind of be brought up into things, because I just I have it's good sometimes to be away and you get a renewed passion to do things, and and I know sometimes, and I can tell from this whole new YouTube version that Soulbro's going on, it's more an interactive thing. Don't be afraid to interact with me, but just also don't feel bad if I don't get back to you immediately. And it's not because I don't want to, and maybe because I'm just not in a position to do it. So, and Soulbro can kind of back me up on that. So, and because I like to hear what's going on, and I was seeing things in the chat, and things I need to watch and things like that. So yeah. Oh, somebody thanked me for my review of The Force Awakens.
That's right. Your review, if you guys haven't listened to that, it's on the archive for the audio version.
That was reviewed on my iPhone, and then uploaded. And that I wanted to do more, but I just was, after about January of this year, I just couldn't do any of that stuff. So it wasn't that I couldn't, but so.
Absolutely. So you guys haven't checked that out review, please do, and make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Just search for Gundam. You can also get our RSS feed from any of our posts over on GundamMAHQ.blogspot.com. If you guys haven't already, feel free, download the episode. The audio version will be up. You probably listened to the audio version, some of you guys. So thank you for supporting that. If you want to watch it live, you guys know to find us on YouTube and subscribe there, because we do the show every 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the next episode of Gundam at MAHQ, episode 180. And that's it for myself, for Neo, and for Chris. You guys have been listening to the show. Any last words for the time being, sir?
Stay. What did Ron Burgundy say?
Stay classy.
Stay classy, San Diego.
You guys do just that, and I'll go ahead and set you guys free. We'll see you guys next episode of Gundam at MHQ. Peace.
it's been a lot of fun, but, well, I guess that's all.
I don't wanna go alone without you. Wish I had someone to come and take me home like you.
さすが私専用のコックピットシートだ。見事に私を支えてくれる。
大佐、敵がそこまで。急いで。
分かっている。1.2 リッター直噴ターボとはな。
大佐オイスが私の心に触った感じなんです。
さらにできるようになったな。オーリスジオニックトヨタ。
My God, man. Do you know what this means? This ghetto's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming.
Proof that black and white can work together as long as we get
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.